The four figures turned toward him, their gazes sharp but non-threatening. The merchant shifted nervously before clearing his throat. "Do you happen to need a ride to the city?" Naruto stepped forward, tilting his head curiously. "Yes. Do you know the way to the nearest city?" The merchant nodded quickly. "Of course, sir. I know the area well. How about we travel together? And, as thanks for saving me, let me offer you a ride." Fran narrowed her eyes slightly, her hand resting on her sword's hilt. She glanced at her shishao for confirmation, and the sword hummed softly, signaling no immediate danger. "You want us to protect you, don't you?" Fran asked directly, her tone calm but sharp. The merchant chuckled nervously, scratching the back of his head. "Haha, well, you caught me, young lady. The truth is, it's dangerous out here, and after what you just did, I'd feel a lot safer with you around. So, how about it? Will you accompany me to the city?" Naruto crossed his arms, glancing at Satria. "Well, what do you think?" Satria stepped forward, his eyes assessing the merchant with a cool, calculating look. "We'll accept your offer, but on one condition." The merchant stiffened slightly, worried about what might come next. "And that is? You'll provide us with food, drink, and some information in exchange for our protection," Satria said with a calm but firm tone. "Fair trade, don't you think?" The merchant visibly relaxed, his shoulders dropping as he nodded quickly. "Deal. Feel free to ask me anything, Satria, sir." "Just Satria will do for now," he replied, extending his hand. The merchant eagerly shook it, his relief evident. "Thank you. You won't regret this. I'll do my best to assist you in any way I can." The carriage trundled along at a snail's pace, each bump and creak a fresh annoyance. For someone like Satria, who hailed from the convenience of the modern era, this was pure torture. No convenience stores. No toilets. No comfortable place to rest. Just trees, wild monster, and idiotic bandits. "Who in their right mind would think this is fun?" he grumbled, crossing his arm. "Quit whining, my boy," Fatalis chided, her voice dripping with exasperation. "This is the dream of countless people. Being sent to an isekai, exploring a new world, and maybe even meeting your destined heroine. It's the ultimate adventure. Stop acting like a spoiled brat." "Fun, hey? My phone has no internet. No games. Nothing to do. And those people who dream about being sent to a world like this? I question their sanity." He sighed heavily, staring at his phone screen. He had considered upgrading his phone with an item called Supercomputer Core, which would enable internet access even in this satellite-less world. But the cost was ridiculous, and besides, he planned to develop the technology himself later, combining ideas and materials from different worlds. Fran, noticing his frustration, gently poked his shoulder. "Is everything okay, Satria? You don't seem to be enjoying the trip." Satria sighed, his irritation melting slightly at Fran's concern. "Sorry, Fran. I didn't mean to worry you. It's just, this whole trip is so boring." Fran tilted her head curiously, but before she could respond, Naruto chimed in with a teasing grin. "What are you, a little kid?" The sword, observing from Fran's hand, couldn't help but mock him. "To think I was once intimidated by this brat. What a fool I was." "Shut it, rusty sword. And you, blonde playboy. Neither of you could possibly understand my pain." Satria snapped, pointing dramatically at both of them. "Who are you calling playboy?" Naruto shot back, visibly annoyed. "And why do you act like you've lived through some great tragedy?" The sword bristled at the insult. "Rusty? I'll show you rusty. Give me your hand, and I'll carve that smug face of yours into a statue." Satria smirked mischievously. "Oh? If rusty sword doesn't suit you, how about the Lilicon sword? Or maybe perverted blade? What did you just say? The sword practically vibrated with fury, but Fran quickly tightened her grip, holding him in place. Naruto glared at him, torn between indignation and resignation. Why do I even bother with you? He muttered, shaking his head. No wonder I feel like an idiot arguing with this guy. The sword, however, was not so willing to back down. Let me at him, Fran. I'll teach this disrespectful brat a lesson. No, Shishao, Fran said firmly, holding the sword steady. You can't attack him. He's my friend. Satria let out an exaggerated yawn. When are we getting there? I'm so bored. Fran, noticing his childish complaint, smiled softly and patted his head. Don't worry, Satria. We're almost there, right, Rendu-san? She asked the merchant. Yes, just a little longer, Satria-san. We're almost at Alice's city, the merchant replied with a polite smile. Fatalis groaned, face-palming in disbelief. I can't believe this. My bearer, being consoled by a 13-year-old girl. Truly pathetic. She shook her head. If you didn't make that deal to escort this merchant, you could have used your speed force to zip to the nearest town. But no, here we are, stuck on this boring adventure. You're not wrong. Satria admitted, before shaking his head. No, wait, I mean this isn't just for me. It's for the safety of this old man and his family. If I abandoned him, he'd probably die on the road, and his loved ones would suffer. I can't call myself a hero of kindness if I let that happen. Do you understand now, Fatalis? Fatalis paused, momentarily stunned by his response. I don't even know how to argue with you. Fine, you win, you soft-hearted fool. Do what you want. She sighed in defeat and retreated to her usual slumber. The way you three handled all the enemies we encountered on this journey. The merchant began hesitantly. Can I presume you're adventurers? Naruto scratched his head. Actually, no, we're not adventurers. But... He glanced at Satria, who looked intrigued. Can you explain what adventurers are and how their guild system works? Satria asked, his curiosity piqued. The merchant explains the 8 categories of monsters according to their threat level and gives a corresponding rank. Equals 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 equals. S. Global crisis. Example, Fenrir and Divine Dragon. A. Continental threat. Example, Demon Lord, Lich, Monarch Dragon. B. National crisis. Example, Greater Demon and Giant. C. Citywide crisis. Example, Tyrant Saber Tiger. D. Town sites crisis. Example, Hydra and Blast Tortoise. E. Village crisis. Example, Wyvern. F. Can be dealt by a party of low-rank adventure or mercenary. Example, Pack of Wolves and Horde of Goblin. G. Can be dealt with by normal adult. Example, Goblin. Equals 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 equals. And of course, if there is a monster adventure surely exists too. Next, the merchant explains the rank of adventure in this world. Equals 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 equals. S. Legendary adventure only 8 in the world. A. Heroes, only a few in each country. B. Highest rank of adventure. C. Veteran. D. Skilled. E. Beginner. F. Fledging. G. Trainee. Equals 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 equals. Adventurers hunt monsters to earn their living, the merchant explained. With your skills, I highly recommend joining the guild. Not only will you earn a certified rank, but you can also sell the materials you gather from the monsters you slay. Fran's eyes lit up with determination. She clenched her fists. Then I want to become an adventurer. Naruto panicked. What? You're too young. It's dangerous. Satria smacked Naruto's head, silencing him. Stop being overdramatic, dope, Satria scolded before turning to Fran with a serious expression. Are you sure about this, Fran? The life of an adventurer isn't just about defeating monsters. It's full of danger, especially for someone your age. Out there, you'll face not only enemies but also betrayal, rivalry, and even lunatics. It's not a world for the faint-hearted. Girls like you should be living a happy, carefree life, not walking a path full of hardship. Fran looked down, crestfallen. Satria sighed, kneeling to her level. Don't misunderstand me, Fran. I'm saying this because I care about you. You're brave and incredibly talented, there's no doubt about that. But the world is harsh, and I want you to be prepared for it. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. So here's my proposal, follow me or this dumb blonde over here until we decide you're ready. If you agree, we'll provide training, education, food, and a home. Or, if you prefer freedom, you can choose to travel on your own and grow stronger through your experiences. Both paths have their own benefits, so think carefully. Whatever you decide, Fran, I'll support you. To be continued. Chapter 62, Chapter 50. Fran Journey. The atmosphere in the carriage turned heavy after Satria's words. His bluntness cut through the chatter, leaving an awkward silence in its wake. Everyone seemed lost in their thoughts, each grappling with the truth he had spoken. Deep down, they all knew he was right. Children like Fran weren't meant to shoulder the dangers of adventuring. The living sword shifted uncomfortably in its sheath, breaking the silence internally. What was I thinking, supporting Fran's decision to become an adventurer? It's true a girl her age should be playing, not wielding a sword and staring into the ugly face of this world. A child should feel the warmth of family, not endure this cold cruelty. The merchant, holding the reins with a furrowed brow, also wrestled with his emotions. He glanced at Fran, imagining his own daughter in her place. The young man is right, he admitted to himself. No child should face this life. But in this world, where privilege is scarce, children like Fran often have no choice. It's either this or starvation. Yet, he couldn't help but wonder. Is this young master from a noble family? That would explain both his wisdom and his spoiled nature. Naruto, sitting across from Fran, clenched his fists tightly. Her quiet resolve and the weight of Satria's words stirred a storm in him. He'd grown up knowing how wrong it was to force children into dangerous roles, yet the world he came from wasn't so different. His mind flashed back to the harsh years of his own childhood, to the missions and burdens placed on him at an age when he should have been carefree. Kurama, sensing his partner's turmoil, spoke in his usual gruff tone. You should have expected this, Naruto. The strong prey on the weak in every world. The difference here is how blatant it is. Son Goku's voice chimed in, recalling his own experience. Humph. My Jinchuriki's country didn't care about such morals either. Every child with the potential to fight was molded into a soldier, willing or not. True, Isabu agreed. In my land, those who refused were branded cowards or traitors, and killed. You think your choice made it better? War doesn't care about the age of its soldiers. Fran, for her part, had been silent the entire time. Her small hands trembled slightly on her lap. She felt conflicted. She hated being treated like she was weak or fragile, especially by him. And yet, another part of her, a small, quiet part she tried to ignore, felt warmed by his concern. But there was no denying her determination. She had her own reasons for wanting to become an adventurer. She clenched her fists tightly as memories surfaced, the faces of the people who murdered her parents and sold her into slavery. Her heart burned with the desire for revenge, but deep down, she hoped for something more, a life of peace, free from fear. Naruto caught the expression on Fran's face, a mix of quiet fury and sorrow. It was a face he knew well, one that mirrored Sasuke's in the early days. His chest tightened. Satria, sensing the growing tension in the air, sighed heavily. He hadn't meant for the conversation to spiral into this. The somber silence felt like a weight on everyone's shoulders, and he decided to break it. "Hey," he said, his tone suddenly light. "How about we take a break over there? I'm starving, and I bet you guys are too." He pointed to a serene lake glistening in the distance. Fran nodded, touching her belly with a shy smile. She was definitely hungry. The merchant perked up, grateful for the change of subject. "A fine idea, Satria-sama. My horses could use a rest as well." The group's spirits began to lift as the carriage veered off the road toward the lake. "Great!" Naruto grinned, his excitement practically radiating off him. "I feel the same, and I've got a treat for you guys. Get ready to experience the food of the gods." His tone was triumphant, as though he were about to unveil the world's greatest secret. The food of the gods. The living sword's curiosity was piqued, though it was met with a groan from Satria, who already knew what Naruto was referring to. "I can't believe you're still hyping that up," Satria muttered, pinching the bridge of his nose. Naruto reached into thin air and suddenly produced a scroll, to everyone's amazement. With a practiced flourish, he unsealed the scroll, summoning a collection of items that left the merchant and Fran in awe, a full assortment of cooking utensils, fresh ingredients, a table and chairs, a canopy for shade, and even a speaker that began playing soft, cheerful music. Fran's eyes widened. "What is all this? Where did it come from?" "A ninja's best friend sealing jutsu," Naruto explained with a wink, before pulling out the piece de resistance, a box of instant ramen from Ichiraku Ramen. He held it up like it was a divine relic, his expression reverent. "Let me guess," Satria said dryly, already knowing what was coming. "The food of the gods is ramen." Naruto beamed. "Not just any ramen, Ichiraku Ramen. The pinnacle of culinary perfection." The merchant was intrigued. "Ramen? I've never heard of such a thing. Is it truly so divine?" "You'll understand once you taste it," Naruto replied, his grin widening. The sword huffed, feeling both amused and slightly insulted. Meanwhile, the merchant was captivated not only by the ramen but by the equipment Naruto had summoned. His eyes sparkled with wonder. What incredible tools! If I could get my hands on just one of these, it would revolutionize the market. He could barely contain his excitement, already calculating the profit potential in his mind. Satria, unfazed by the display, grabbed the cooking set with a casual air. "Dope, step aside. I'm in the mood to cook today." Fine, Naruto said, stepping back with a smirk. "But don't mess up the ramen." Satria waved him off and pulled out a high-quality cut of beef and chicken from the stash. He placed a camera nearby and began recording himself. "All right, let's get started," he said, his tone suddenly professional as he began narrating his process. Fran tilted her head, watching Satria talking animatedly to a strange device set up nearby. What is Satria doing, Shishao? Why is he talking to himself? The sword hummed thoughtfully. Is he perhaps one of those food bloggers I've heard about? You know, the kind of people who share their cooking skills with the world. Naruto, arranging the ramen ingredients, glanced over. Maybe? Honestly, I don't know much about him, he admitted with a shrug. He's always doing random stuff. Satria's movements around the cooking station were mesmerizing. He moved with the precision and confidence of a seasoned chef, tossing ingredients into the pan, stirring the curry, and checking the ramen's broth like a professional. The rich aroma of spices, savory broth, and perfectly grilled steak began wafting through the air, making everyone pause and take notice. Wow, Fran murmured, her mouth watering. It smells amazing. The merchant's eyes widened, clearly impressed. This young man has incredible skills. The way he's moving, it's like watching a chef in a noble's kitchen. Naruto grinned, inhaling deeply. You should see him cook when he's really trying. The guy's got magic hands when it comes to food. When the meal was finally ready, Satria presented the dishes with a flourish. He placed a steaming plate of Japanese curry rice and a bowl of rich, fragrant ramen before each person, completing the spread with a refreshing glass of iced tea taric. Here you go, Satria said. Enjoy. Fran stared at the food in awe before eagerly digging in. It's so good, she exclaimed between bites, her tail wagging with delight. Naruto slurped his curry ramen noisily, a blissful expression on his face. This really is the food of the gods, he declared. Even the merchant couldn't contain his delight. This is extraordinary. The flavors are so balanced, so unique. He paused thoughtfully, then reached into his bag and pulled out a bottle of finely aged alcohol. This meal deserves a worthy companion. Let's enjoy this together. Naruto accepted a glass with a grin. Thanks. I'm not much of a drinker, but I'll make an exception. Satria, on the other hand, didn't hesitate. He poured himself a glass and downed it in one gulp. Hey! Fatalis's voice echoed in his head. What do you think you're doing? Isn't that harem? Satria waved a hand dismissively. It's just one sip. I'm not drunk or anything, right? Fatalis sighed. Tisk. You Indonesians are so weird sometimes. Satria rolled his eyes, pouring himself another glass. Relax, I'll stop after this one. Besides, it's not every day you get to enjoy good food and good company like this. Geez. I must admit, Fatalis teased in Satria's mind, her voice carrying a mischievous tone, if you showed this side of yourself more often, every girl you meet would fall head over heels for you. After all, girls love a man who can conquer them with food. Satria smirked, puffing out his chest with exaggerated pride. What do you expect from the incredible me? Cooking is just one of my many talents. Fatalis chuckled, though her own longing surfaced. She could almost taste the dishes he prepared, her memories of his cooking vivid. It's unfair, you know. Your cooking is addictive. No wonder your wife refuses to let you go anywhere without them. Satria's smirk softened slightly at the mention of his wife but quickly masked it. What can I say? I aim to please, he said playfully, setting down another perfectly plated dish. Fran, her curiosity piqued as she eagerly dug into her meal, glanced at Satria. What is this food called? It's so good, she asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Satria wiped his hands and knelt beside her with a smile. This is Japanese food, he explained. What you're eating now is called curry rice, and the other dish is curry ramen. Both are popular in my world. Fran's eyes sparkled. Japanese food. She repeated, savoring the unfamiliar flavors. Her sword hummed thoughtfully. Fran, if you'd like, I can try making something like this for you later. I won't lose to this guy. Fran's ears perked up, her tail wagging slightly. Really, Shishao? That would be amazing. Naruto, finishing off his second bowl of ramen, interjected with a grin. Good luck matching Satria's cooking, though. The guy's a natural chef. You might have a hard time beating him. Satria grinned smugly at the compliment. Of course. I am amazing, after all. Fatalis sighed, though a smile lingered in her voice. There it is. That typical Indo overconfident attitude. Don't let it go to your head, boy. I had no idea you were a genius in cooking. It's absolutely amazing, Satria-sama. The merchant exclaimed, savoring every bite. He had never tasted anything like this in his entire life. The flavors were rich and complex, making words insufficient to describe the culinary experience. And this drink, it's so refreshing, perfectly sweet for my liking. How wonderful! He took another sip of the iced teh tarik, thoroughly enjoying the combination. Naruto leaned back after finishing his plate, patting his stomach in satisfaction. You're seriously talented, Satria. Ever thought about switching careers? You'd make an incredible chef, he joked, though his tone carried genuine admiration. Fran was practically glowing as she feasted on Satria's cooking. Satria is amazing, she said, her eyes lighting up with joy. Between bites, she added, the drink you made is so tasty too. It was rare for her to indulge in food this good, and it brought a cheerful energy to her normally reserved demeanor. Her thoughts briefly wandered as she continued eating, sneaking glances at Satria. Not only is he kind, strong, and intelligent, but he's also an incredible cook. She couldn't help but blush at the thought of living with someone like him, being spoiled by his care every day. No. I can't think like that, not until I've found the ones who destroyed my life. Her cheeks turned even redder as she quickly shook the thought away and focused on her food. The sword, however, was less enthusiastic. Is his food really that good? He grumbled, though deep down, he was suspicious. Fran's face clearly showed she was becoming more and more affectionate toward Satria. That realization hit him like a thunderbolt. No. I don't care if he's a great cook or a demon or whatever. I'll never hand Fran over to you, you bastard. Satria, catching the sword's outburst, smirked and leaned in closer to Fran. Careful, Shishao, he teased, his voice laced with amusement. It looks like Fran's already on my side after tasting my food. Maybe you should work on your own cooking skills if you don't want to lose her. No. Fran giggled at their banter, the warmth of the moment filling the air. For a fleeting second, she felt like she was part of something she hadn't had in a long time, a family. After packing up their equipment, the group resumed their journey. Fran, however, decided to make herself comfortable by climbing onto Satria's lap, demanding that he pet her head. Satria, accustomed to her antics by now, gently ran his hand through her hair while casually replying to the dimensional chat messages flooding in. _____. Dimensional chat. King of Knights, how is your travel going? God of Hope, we're doing fine, and Fran-chan is an absolute angel. Check out these pictures from our journey. God of Hope uploaded 6 images. Amelia, she's so adorable. Kazuma-sama, why is Fran acting so strangely close to Shin? What have you done to her, you wicked man? Black Cat, Satria is a good guy, so don't assume the worst about him, Kazuma-san. Shin, exactly, listen to her, Lolizuma. I've done nothing wrong. I'm just being a proper gentleman who treats a lady well. Kazuma-sama, sounds like you've already brainwashed her, you bastard. Evil spirit, stop bickering, you two. Satria-kun, you still haven't answered my question yet. Shin, oh, right. What was your question again? Evil spirit, I asked if there's a way to use my powers without sacrificing my lifespan. Robin, wait, what? Don't tell me what you did during that mission in Peter's world came at the cost of your lifespan. Evil spirit, it did, but no need to worry. I have my own ways of dealing with it. Robin, how exactly? Evil spirit, you don't need to know, little bat. Robin. Shin, it's a complicated issue, but every problem has a solution. First, I'll need to check your condition to understand the source of the problem. Evil spirit, thanks, Satria-kun. If you manage to help me, I might just reward you with something fun. Smirking face. Shin, your version of fun is more of a danger to me. ______. Fran, who had been quietly observing the conversation, suddenly looked up at Satria with a sharp glare. What, is this fun she's talking about, Satria? It's it's just fun after playing games or something like that. Satria stammered, his face breaking into an awkward grin. Nothing you need to worry about. It doesn't have any hidden meaning, Fran. Despite his explanation, a bead of sweat formed on his temple. Deep down, he had no idea what Kurumi's fun actually entailed, but he dreaded it might be exactly what he feared. If it's what I think it is, my wives will kill me for sure. As if reading his mind, Fatalis's voice echoed in his head, teasing him. Don't forget, you have the Osiris ring. Even if they kill you, it'll bring you back to life, so no big deal. Idiot, Satria retorted internally, that just makes it worse. Fran raised a suspicious eyebrow, but eventually shrugged it off. If you say so, Satria, she said, nestling back into his lap. Naruto shook his head in exasperation, muttering under his breath, how do you even end up in situations like this? After a long journey, they finally arrived at their destination. So, that's Alessa City? Fran asked, munching on a chocolate bar Naruto had given her earlier. Wow! It feels like I've been transported straight into another world, just like in the anime Kurama watches back home, Naruto said, marveling at the bustling cityscape before them. Alessa was a vibrant city, surrounded by towering walls and teeming with life. The gates were busy with merchants, adventurers, and travelers from various regions. The site was a kaleidoscope of activity, wagons carrying goods, street performers entertaining passers-by, and guards diligently inspecting those entering. Satria observed the gate thoughtfully, rubbing his chin. It looks impressive, but how do we get in? We don't have money or any proper identification to enter the city. Illegally sneaking in is an option, he admitted, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'd prefer not to act against the rules if we don't have to. Don't worry about that. I'll pay the entry fee, Rendu, the merchant who had accompanied them, said with a reassuring smile, pulling out a small pouch of coins. Fran turned to him with gratitude. You're so kind, Rendu-san. Thank you for helping us. Rendu chuckled warmly, shaking his head. Think nothing of it, young lady. And if you ever need money, feel free to visit my shop. I'll be happy to purchase any items you want to sell. His eyes sparkled, still holding out hope that they'd part with some of their exotic goods. With Rendu's help, the group successfully entered the city. After bidding farewell to the merchant, they stood at the entrance, taking in the lively surroundings. We made it, Fran, the sword said, his voice tinged with excitement. This is our first city. Can you feel the energy here? Fran nodded, her eyes bright as she scanned the streets. This was more than just a new place to her, it was the starting point of her journey to become stronger. As they strolled through the city, Satria stretched his arms, looking around in awe. Man, this place feels way more like a fantasy world than Kazuma's hometown. You can really tell it's a hub for adventurers. Fatalis agreed. Yeah, Alessa has a more authentic vibe. It's exactly the kind of place you'd imagine adventurers gathering. The streets were lined with vendors selling everything from shimmering weapons to exotic spices. Adventurers in armor and cloaks crowded around notice boards, while blacksmiths hammered away at their craft. Nearby, children darted through the crowds, laughing and playing. Fran's gaze wandered from stall to stall, soaking in the vibrant energy of the city. She clenched her fists with determination. This is it. The place where I'll start my journey as an adventurer, and where I'll grow stronger. Naruto leaned down, nudging her playfully. Excited, Fran? Your first city as a full-fledged adventurer. Yeah, she said, her voice quiet but filled with resolve. Satria smiled at her determination. Enjoy it, Fran. This is just the beginning. As Satria and Naruto strolled through the bustling streets of Alessa, they couldn't help but notice the stares of admiration directed their way. Women across the marketplace blushed as their eyes landed on the duo, whispering in excitement. Who are they? One murmured, clutching her basket of goods tightly. So handsome. Another sighed dreamily. They must be nobles, or maybe even princes from a faraway land, a third speculated, her cheeks flushed. A particularly bold woman stepped forward with a sultry smile. "Hello, boys. Care to spend some time with an Oni-san tonight?" she teased. Satria and Naruto's sweat dropped, suddenly aware of the growing crowd of admirers closing in on them like bees to honey. Not only in DxD but here too. Are you kidding me? Satria thought, his mind racing as he noticed Fran glaring daggers at every woman who dared approach him. The tiny black cat girl was practically hissing like an angry kitten, making her displeasure known. Must be nice being so popular. You make me jealous, damned harem protagonist, the sword groaned, his voice dripping with envy. Why is it always you people? It should be me surrounded by heroines. And instead? I'm cursed to be a hunk of metal. A sword. Damn whoever reincarnated me like this. Naruto scratched the back of his head awkwardly. What fun. This is a nightmare. I should have worn my hood from the start, they're so bothersome. He glanced nervously at a group of women who were giggling and waving at him. Satria sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. All right, that's enough of this nonsense. He placed a hand on Fran's shoulder to calm her down and looked at Naruto. Let's get out of here before they swarm us. Our first stop is the Adventurers Guild, remember? Naruto nodded, relief washing over him. Please, lead the way. Sorry, ladies, Satria said smoothly, addressing the disappointed crowd. But we're on a tight schedule and don't have time to chat. Before anyone could protest, he grabbed both Naruto and Fran, activating his super speed. In the blink of an eye, they vanished from the market, leaving their admirers stunned and searching in vain. When they reappeared, they were standing right in front of the Adventurers Guild. The grand building loomed before them, its doors buzzing with activity as adventurers of all kinds came and went. Finally, some peace, Satria muttered, brushing himself off. Fran puffed out her cheeks, still sulking. Humph. Too many weird female. Satria gave her a wry smile. Let's just focus on registering as an adventurer now, okay? Fran brightened up at the mention of her goal, her earlier irritation melting away. Together, the trio headed inside, ready to take the next step on their journey. The guild hall was bustling with activity. Adventurers gathered in groups, huddling over maps and discussing their quests. Others feasted noisily, their mugs clanking as they celebrated recent victories. Amidst the lively chatter and occasional bursts of laughter, a single woman at the reception desk quietly cast a deadpan glare at some particularly rowdy adventurers. Though she said nothing, her thoughts betrayed her disdain. Ugh, if only some of these idiots would take a permanent trip to the afterlife. She thought, suppressing a sigh of frustration. Suddenly, a small voice snapped her out of her musings. Excuse me. We want to register with the guild. Looking down, the receptionist spotted a young black cat girl standing confidently before her. But before she could respond, her eyes drifted past the girl, landing on the two striking figures behind her. Her breath hitched. Who are they? Are they nobles? Or, perhaps my Prince Charming come to whisk me away from this cursed place? Her mind spiraled into a dreamy haze as her eyes sparkled. Aira, welcome. What can I do for you, gentlemen? She purred, her tone oozing charm as she addressed Satria. Satria, unfazed by her demeanor, spoke plainly. We want to register with the guild. Can we? The receptionist blinked, snapping out of her reverie. Oh, 3 registrations, she asked, glancing back at Fran. Her tone softened, laced with concern. Are you sure you want to become an adventurer, little one? Fran nodded firmly. Yes. I want to become an adventurer. The receptionist hesitated. You do realize not everyone can become one, right? You'll need to pass a test from the guild examiner. I'm ready, Fran replied without hesitation. The receptionist leaned closer, her expression serious. You understand the risks, don't you? If you get hurt or worse, the guild takes no responsibility. Are you really okay with that? Fran stared back, unwavering. No problem. The receptionist sighed and turned to the two men, her professionalism momentarily faltering as she once again admired their appearances. And you too? Naruto and Satria nodded in unison. Same as her. Before the receptionist could process their determination, the murmur of nearby adventurers caught their attention. Kahihi, some spoiled noble brats trying to play adventurer, one sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. Don't die too early, all right? The real world isn't as kind as your mansions, another taunted. That white-haired one is handsome though, a woman commented, though her tone was laced with disdain. Bet he's just here to show off. TCH, pretty faces don't last long in this line of work, another scoffed. The receptionist cleared her throat, ignoring the background chatter. Don't mind them. Please follow me, she said, gesturing toward a hallway that led to the guild's testing grounds. Fran shot a glare at the jeering adventurers, her small fists clenched, but Satria placed a hand on her shoulder. Ignore them, he said calmly. We'll prove ourselves soon enough. Naruto gave the crowd a wry smile. They'll eat their words in no time. The trio stepped into the dimly lit arena, the sound of their footsteps echoing off the stone walls. At the center of the arena sat a burly figure on a large stone, his crimson skin and sharp tusks giving away his Oni heritage. He leaned forward, his piercing gaze sizing up the newcomers. You brats are the ones who want to join the guild, he growled, his deep voice reverberating through the room. Satria, Naruto, and Fran simply stared at him, their reactions far from what he expected. With a loud clang, the roof above them slid shut, casting the arena into near darkness. Only faint torches illuminated the area, creating an oppressive atmosphere. I'm the examiner for the Alessa Guild. Name's Donadrand, he bellowed, his voice a mixture of pride and authority. As he spoke, an intense wave of aura erupted from him, washing over the group like a tidal wave. The receptionist, observing from a safe distance, thought to herself, as expected of Donadrand-san. That aura, it's terrifying. Most rookies run for the hills when they feel it. Let's see how these three handle it. But instead of panicking, the three newcomers acted, bizarrely. Fran stood calmly with a blank expression, unfazed by the pressure. Naruto yawned, stretching his arms casually, as if he were about to take a nap. Meanwhile, Satria had pulled out his phone and was snapping selfies with the group, ensuring the ominous arena background was perfectly framed. The receptionist's jaw nearly dropped. What? They're not even flinching? Are they insane? The sentient sword, observing the scene through Fran, decided to appraise Donadrand. After scanning him, the sword mused, not bad. Strong, sure, but not anything extraordinary compared to the two guys Fran's traveling with. He's more of a mini-boss level, really. Donadrand's eyes narrowed at the lack of reaction from the group. He growled, his pride as an Oni on the line. Listen here, I don't care who you are or where you're from. When you step into this arena, I won't hold back. I'll fight with everything I've got, even if it means crushing you. Fran stepped forward, her small figure looking almost fragile compared to the towering Oni. She locked eyes with him and replied without hesitation, that's what I want. Her voice was calm, but it carried a weight that caught even Donadrand off guard. Satria chuckled as he took another photo. All right, Fran. Make it a good fight. I want some cool shots for the gallery. Naruto grinned, leaning against the wall. Show him what you're made of, Fran. Don't hold back. Donadrand smirked. You've got guts, kid. Let's see if you can back it up. The tension in the air thickened as Fran drew her sword, her stance firm and unwavering. Donadrond cracked his knuckles, his aura flaring even stronger. Fran took a deep breath, her eyes narrowing. She was ready. Go Fran! Beat that old man! What's his name again? Oh yeah, Donald Trump! Satria called out with a teasing grin, earning a snort of laughter from Naruto. It's Donadrond, you bastard, the Oni roared, veins popping on his forehead. He turned his focus back to the small black cat girl in front of him. So, you're up first, kid? Let's see what you've got. Fran nodded firmly, her eyes shining with determination. You both ready? The receptionist asked, her voice trembling slightly as she glanced nervously between Fran and the massive Oni. Begin. Donadrond wasted no time, lunging forward with his axe raised high. His attack cleaved the air where Fran had been standing just moments before. She had nimbly dodged the strike with graceful precision. HOH! Not bad for a newbie, Donadrond grinned, a spark of excitement lighting up his eyes. It had been a long time since anyone gave him a real challenge. Huffed. That was close, the sword thought, relieved at Fran's quick reaction. The Oni charged again, leaping high into the air. Slam slash, he roared, bringing his axe down with a thunderous crash. Once again, Fran sidestepped the attack effortlessly, leaving Donadrond to strike only the stone floor. Go Fran! Show him what you've got! Naruto cheered enthusiastically, holding his phone up to record the action. Beside him, Satria was doing the same, capturing every moment. Fran and Donadrond's weapons clashed, sparks flying as the two tried to overpower each other. Realizing she needed an edge, Fran activated her magic, enhancing her strength and agility. Let's end this, Fran muttered, dashing forward in a blur. With precision, she landed a clean slash on Donadrond's arm, drawing blood. But to her surprise, his wounds closed almost immediately. Not bad, kid, Donadrond admitted, his grin widening. But that's not gonna cut it. Let me show you real power. The Oni flared his aura and launched a flurry of relentless strikes. Fran weaved through his attacks, her focus unwavering. I will become an adventurer, she shouted, planting her foot firmly on the ground. With a flick of her wrist, she cast earth magic, summoning a massive hand from the ground to hold Donadrond in place. Nice one, the sword said, deciding to join in. Now, let's light it up. Fire magic, try explosion. 3 fiery blasts erupted, slamming into Donadrond and making him stumble back. Damn you! Donadrond growled, his pride wounded as he realized this small girl could use advanced magic. Fran didn't let up. She leaped forward, her blade glowing with energy. Take this! Dragon Fang! Her strike hit like a freight train, sending Donadrond hurtling across the arena. He crashed into the far wall with a deafening boom, the rebel burying him under a cloud of dust and debris. The arena fell silent, the receptionist staring wide-eyed at the devastation. She's incredible, she whispered. Fran stood victorious, her breathing steady as she looked at the rebel. A moment later, Donadrond emerged, dusting himself off. Despite the scratches and dirt on his face, he gave her a proud thumbs up. You're amazing, kid. You pass, he said with a grin. Fran nodded in acknowledgement, her calm demeanor belying her earlier fiery determination. Now it's your turn, boys, Donadrond said, cracking his knuckles and readying himself for the next challenge. Naruto glanced at Satria with a smirk. Hey, you know how he likes to intimidate people? Let's give him a taste of his own medicine. Satria sighed but nodded. Fine. Let's see if he can handle this. Together, they unleashed their full aura. The atmosphere in the arena shifted dramatically as an oppressive energy filled the air. The receptionist immediately fainted, collapsing behind Fran. The entire city seemed to tremble as if an earthquake had struck. The sword, sensing the sheer power, was in complete shock. What, what kind of monsters are these two? Donadrond, meanwhile, could only stare, frozen in place. His legs trembled as he looked at the shadows forming behind the two men. Behind Naruto, he saw the shapes of 9 massive beasts, each radiating raw power. Behind Satria loomed the terrifying figure of a colossal black dragon. What is this power? Donadron stammered, his voice barely audible. For the first time in his life, he felt genuine terror. The ONI knew that this moment the overwhelming fear and awe would haunt him for the rest of his days. To be continued. Chapter 63, Chapter 51. The Invader's Shadow. Adventure Guild Alessa City. The ground trembled violently, rattling furniture and sending people into disarray. What's happening? Did you feel that? The earth is shaking. What is responsible for this? Inside the bustling Adventure Guild, panic erupted. Tables shook, tankards of ale spilled over, and papers flew across the hall. The oppressive, overwhelming pressure that accompanied the quake had left everyone frozen in fear. But as quickly as it began, the shaking subsided, and the suffocating aura dissipated. All eyes turned toward the arena doors, where 5 figures finally emerged. Naruto carried the unconscious receptionist gently in his arms, her body limp but unharmed. Beside him, Donadron the massive, battle-hardened ONI and guild examiner walked alongside the group, his usual intimidating presence replaced with a rare solemnity. Move aside, Donadron ordered the crowd, his tone unusually polite as he guided Naruto toward the nearest resting area. Let them pass. The guild hall fell into a hushed murmur as everyone watched the newcomers. Their previous skepticism and taunts had been silenced by the raw display of power they had felt. After settling the receptionist in a quiet area, Donadron finally turned to face Satria and Naruto. His massive arms crossed over his chest, and his tone was carefully respectful, something unheard of from the gruff examiner. Excuse me, Donadron began, his voice rumbling like distant thunder, but I need to ask. What exactly are you two? For a moment back there, I saw something, a shadow. A massive beast of overwhelming power. It was, unlike anything I've ever seen. Satria raised an eyebrow, looking somewhat amused. A big guy like you speaking so politely? That's unexpected. He waved his hand casually. Relax, Donald Trump. Just go back to acting like yourself. My name is Donadrond, sir. The ONI corrected his name, then chuckled despite himself. Ha! You're not wrong. This does feel strange. But his curiosity remained. Even so, I must know who are you, and where do you come from? Satria shook his head with a small grin. That's classified information for now, bro. You'll know when the time's right. Fair enough, Donadrond replied, surprisingly accepting. His eyes still carried a mix of awe and caution. Still, Satria-sama, Naruto-sama, we're honored to have you both as members of the Alessa Adventure Guild. As they walked further into the guild hall, the intelligent sword couldn't contain his curiosity. They're both insanely strong. Fran, can you explain how you even know people like them? Where did you find these monsters in human form? Fran, walking proudly between Satria and Naruto, glanced up at the blade strapped to her back. Sure. It all started when I was in the carriage, feeling hopeless. That's when something called dimensional chat appeared in front of me. Dimensional chat, the sword echoed, puzzled. From what Satria explained, Fran continued matter-of-factly, it's like a group chat that lets people from different universes talk to each other. The sword was quiet for a moment, processing what he had just heard. Different universes. His voice held a mix of disbelief and awe. So, that's how these two ended up here. Fran nodded with a small smile. Yep. They came to help me. The sword let out a sigh, feeling a strange sense of relief. With them around, nothing can harm you, Fran. I might just start liking this strange group of yours. Fran giggled softly as Satria and Naruto exchanged amused glances, enjoying the newfound peace for now. Guildmaster's office. After leaving the receptionist to recover, Satria, Naruto, Fran, and Donadrond made their way to the Guildmaster's office. Donadrond knocked firmly on the heavy wooden door. "Come in," a calm, composed voice answered from inside. The group entered the room to find a regal-looking elf seated behind a large, ornate desk. His golden hair gleamed under the sunlight streaming through the tall windows, and his sharp green eyes studied the newcomers carefully. Donadrond stood awkwardly by Satria and Naruto, still feeling an inexplicable chill run down his spine. For someone as strong and experienced as him, the fact that he was the one feeling intimidated said enough about the two men before him. The Guildmaster, however, remained composed though his fingers unconsciously tapped against the desk as he gauged the group. "I'll get straight to the point," the elf began, his voice smooth but firm. "Who are you two? And what exactly are you?" There was a subtle weight to his question, one that betrayed how seriously he took their earlier display of power. Satria stepped forward casually, his posture relaxed as he introduced himself with a faint smile. "My name is Satria. As you can see, I'm just a human, a talented one, sure, but nothing more." Naruto followed suit with a grin. "I'm Patronus. Same as him, just your average strong guy." The Guildmaster exhaled slowly, already realizing he wasn't going to get a straight answer. While they played it off humbly, the pressure they had emitted earlier had been anything but human. Still, having adventurers of this caliber in the guild could prove advantageous. Turning his gaze to Fran, the Guildmaster's eyes softened, though curiosity burned behind them. "Fran-san," he addressed her gently, "you demonstrated mid-level sword mastery and fire magic at level 10 without so much as a cooldown. Where did you learn such techniques?" The sword strapped to Fran's back immediately spoke up telepathically. "Don't tell him, Fran. We can't let anyone know our secret." Fran nodded obediently, then covered her mouth in an adorable gesture. "It's a secret," she replied sweetly. Satria, captivated by her innocent display, couldn't stop himself from blurting out, "She's so cute." "Fran, you're killing me with that look." Naruto groaned, slapping a hand to his face. "Damn it, Satria, control yourself." Fatalis chimed in telepathically, smug as always. "You're finally showing your true colors, you furry bastard." "Shut up, you useless neat dragon." Satria shot back. "Lolitria. Neat dragon." The Guildmaster sighed, realizing Fran wouldn't budge. "I see. A secret, then." But his curiosity wasn't so easily quelled. "Fine. Let's try an appraisal." He murmured a spell under his breath, his green eyes glowing faintly as he cast appraisal on Fran. Blocked. He blinked in surprise, the attempt nullified entirely. She even blocked appraisal. The sword let out an internal sigh of relief. "Whew. Good thing I used evolution points to learn that skill. No one's peeking at Fran's stats on my watch." Fran tilted her head slightly. "Did I fail because of that?" she asked innocently. The Guildmaster shook his head with a faint smile. "No, not at all. There are just some peculiarities I can't quite explain. However, the spirits here don't sense anything malicious in you. In fact, they seem pleased especially with your guardians." "Spirits?" Fran blinked, looking confused. "The spirits are sensitive to evil intent," he explained. "I know you're hiding something, but whatever it is, it doesn't seem dangerous. So, for now, you're in the clear." Fran nodded slowly, a small smile forming. The Guildmaster straightened up and gestured toward the door. "Now then, since our receptionist isn't in the best condition, I'll handle your registration personally. Follow me." He stood from his desk and moved gracefully toward the exit, his long coat flowing behind him. Satria, Naruto, and Fran followed, exchanging quiet glances. Finally, we're official adventurers, Naruto murmured, his grin returning. Satria smirked. Let's just hope this guild is ready for the amazing me. The Crystal Room. The group entered a spacious, dimly lit chamber where a series of large light blue crystals sat mounted on pedestals. Their faint glow illuminated the room in a serene, ethereal light. The guild master stood near one of the crystals, motioning toward it. These are mana crystals. Place your hand on one, and it will attune to your mana wave. From there, you'll receive a list of compatible jobs based on your strength, skills, and potential. Who wants to go first? The guild master asked, raising an eyebrow. Fran stepped forward without hesitation. She stared at the crystal with determination before placing her small hand on its cool surface. The crystal flared brightly, its glow intensifying with swirling patterns of magic. The guild master watched with astonished eyes as the crystal projected a series of job titles. Who? You're compatible with Warrior, Blade Master, Sword Mage, Quick Blade, Summoner, and many others, the guild master announced, his voice filled with awe. To have this level of potential at your age. You're a prodigy, young lady. I've never seen such versatility. Fran's eyes sparkled. Sword Mage sounds great, she thought. Good choice, the sword spoke telepathically, its voice filled with approval. Sword Mage will boost your mana and sharpen your sword techniques. I choose Sword Mage, Fran said firmly, her small voice carrying conviction. The guild master smiled and nodded, crafting her identification card with a few magical gestures. It's decided. Congratulations, Fran. He handed her the card. Name, Fran. Class, Sword Mage. Fran took the card, her expression beaming with pride. I'm officially an adventurer, she exclaimed, holding it up for the others to see. Wait, wait. Don't move. Satria grinned, pulling out his phone. Naruto quickly followed suit. Fran-chan, hold that pose. Both began snapping pictures of her proudly holding her card. The guild master blinked, visibly confused. What are those strange devices? They look like small tablets but emit light. Congratulations, Fran-chan. Naruto said warmly. Fran, however, walked up to Satria, her expression softening. She tugged at his sleeve and looked up at him with hopeful puppy eyes. I'm an adventurer now, so. Satria smiled softly, placing a hand on her head and ruffling her hair gently. You did a great job, Fran. I'm proud of you. Fran purred under his touch, her tail swishing happily behind her. The guild master cleared his throat, trying to pull the group back to focus. Ahem. Can we continue? Satria stepped forward next, placing his hand on the crystal. The room was immediately bathed in a blinding golden light. The guild master shielded his eyes as the crystal listed an overwhelming number of advanced and legendary job classes. Dragon Knight, Omni Knight, Silencer, Outworld Destroyer, Invoker, Grand Magus, Dark Knight, Nature Prophet, Starfall Archer, Legion Commander. This is unbelievable, the guild master stammered. Satria stared at the job titles, his brow twitching. Why do these jobs sound like hero roles from that game? That's amazing, Satria. Fran applauded, clapping her hands. Even the sword spoke up with rare praise. His potential isn't just strong. It's monstrous. Satria smirked. Well then, I choose. The guild master handed him his card with admiration still clear in his eyes. Finally, Naruto stepped up, grinning. Guess I'm last, hey. He pressed his hand to the crystal. This time, an intense silver light erupted, filling the room with a near-blinding glow. When the light faded, the list of Naruto's jobs appeared and the guild master's jaw nearly hit the floor. Dark Lord, Doombringer, Hopebringer, Ashura the Destroyer, Emperor of Shadow, Lord of Nature. Who are you people? The guild master breathed, overwhelmed. Naruto rubbed the back of his head with a sheepish grin. Not bad, right? The guildmaster looked at the three of them, the confusion plain on his face. I must ask again, who are you? Your power, your abilities, they're unlike anything I've ever seen. Satria stepped forward, his tone serious but his face calm. We'll tell you, but you must keep this between us. The guildmaster nodded solemnly. I swear upon my ancestors' honor, this conversation will never leave this room. Naruto narrowed his eyes, his instincts confirming the elf's sincerity. He's telling the truth, Satria. Satria sighed dramatically, spinning a half-truth. We're from another world. A powerful entity, a platinum-haired woman who radiates divine majesty, brought us here. She didn't tell us much, only that this world faces an impending calamity. The guildmaster's expression hardened. A calamity? What kind of calamity? Satria turned to Naruto. Your turn, bro. Take it away. Naruto sighed, deciding to roll with the nonsense story. It's an army of powerful monsters, thousands, maybe tens of thousands, that will descend upon this city soon. From what I've seen, no one here is ready to face them. The guildmaster paled, gripping the desk for support. Monsters? And most of our top-ranked adventurers are away on missions. He swallowed hard. Satria placed a reassuring hand on the elf's shoulder. Don't worry. There's a reason the goddess of this world sent us here. We'll defend this city until our last breath and make sure no harm will come to the innocent. I'm a hero of kindness after all. The guildmaster looked up at him, relief and gratitude washing over his face. Thank you. I can't express how much your presence means to us. The guild and this city will owe you a great debt. Just make sure the reward's worthwhile, Satria said with a cheeky grin. I better see some serious gold for this. Speaking of rewards, that brat spider still owes me for fixing their city. I'll deal with that later. The sword groaned internally. This guy calls himself a hero. Fatalis chuckled in the back of Satria's mind. He may be a troublemaker, but I can't help but love him. The guildmaster leaned forward, his sharp gaze fixed on Naruto and Satria. So, when will this monster army arrive in the city? Naruto crossed his arms, his expression calm but focused. I've sent my agent to keep an eye on their movements outside the city. They'll bring back intel soon. Once they do, we'll know their numbers, their formation, and how close they are. The guildmaster let out a heavy sigh and leaned back in his chair. Good. The sooner we know, the better. If there's any news, I expect you to report it immediately. I'll need time to prepare defenses and evacuate the civilians. Satria nodded. Don't worry. You'll know as soon as we do. We're not about to let this city fall. The guildmaster looked between the two of them, their confidence reassuring but still unnerving. Who exactly are these people? He wondered. Whatever the case, their strength might be the only thing standing between the city and certain doom. Far above Fran's world, a colossal ship hovered in the cold expanse of space. The massive vessel, dark and jagged, loomed like an artificial moon, its surface brimming with alien weaponry and machinery. Inside the command chamber, an unknown figure stood before a giant observation screen displaying the unsuspecting planet below. His posture radiated arrogance, his armor gleaming under the dim red light of the control room. Mephilas-sama, said a subordinate, kneeling on one knee. His voice carried a mix of confusion and disdain. Why have we come to this backwater planet? The commanding figure turned, his sinister grin barely visible in the shadows. Simple. We'll strip it of its resources. These primitive creatures are foolish and weak. I've already set my plan in motion by controlling one of their own to wreak havoc from within. The subordinate furrowed his brow. If they're so weak, why not just blast the planet into dust with our weapons? A sudden clap echoed through the chamber as the superior struck the subordinate across the face. Idiot, he snarled, his voice dripping with contempt. If we destroy the planet, its resources will be lost. And we can't enslave the dead, can we? The subordinate clutched his face, nodding hastily. Why yes, boss. Forgive me. Your strategy is flawless. Of course it is, the commander sneered, turning back to the observation screen. This planet won't know what hit them. The subordinate hesitated before asking, but, if your puppet on the ground fails if they're defeated, what will you do then? The commander's grin widened into something cruel and inhuman. His eyes glinted like twin embers. If that happens, he said slowly, then I'll unleash something upon them that their feeble minds can't even fathom. The subordinate froze, his face pale. You mean that, boss? You're serious? Ha 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 ha. You guessed correctly. A chilling laugh echoed through the chamber. The commander's sadistic expression was all the answer he needed. They won't stand a chance, because they're already in my game. To be continued. Chapter 64, Chapter 52. When Trouble Calls. Naruto POV. We're adventurers now. Does this make you pumped up, Naruto? Kurama asked, excitement evident in his voice. The fox had only experienced being an adventurer through RPG games, and seeing it come to life made him eager. Naruto chuckled in agreement. Yeah. I can't wait to try out these new skills. He had spent a long time choosing his job since all of them offered unique abilities and powers. Each option was tempting, but here were some of the standouts. Dark Lord, this job enhanced Naruto's affinity for darkness and his demonic form. It granted terrifying abilities like consuming enemies' souls to absorb their powers. Additionally, his mere presence could weaken enemies, cause widespread fear, and even resurrect fallen foes as undead soldiers. Doombringer, a fire-based role that amplified his ability to wield hellfire flames from the seven hells. The ultimate skill, Doom, inflicts a curse that dispels an enemy and prevents them from casting spells or healing in any way, while taking damage over time. Burned their body and soul into nothingness. Hope-bringer, Kurama called this the power of friendship job. The more people believed in him, the stronger he became. This role granted Guardian of Hope, an ability to inspire courage, heal allies, and bolster morale in a wide radius. Ashura the Destroyer, this boosted Naruto's raw strength dramatically, especially in a rage. The unique ability, Ashura Wrath, turned his anger into a force capable of leveling battlefields. Emperor of Shadow, this role allowed Naruto to command shadows, including his enemies. It reminded him of Shikamaru's shadow jutsu but on a much grander scale. Lord of Nature, a perfect fit for his sage mode. Naruto could connect with nature itself, summon armies of treants, and heal allies using tranquility, a large-scale nature-based healing skill. With all these options, I'm glad I didn't have to pick blind, Naruto muttered, still feeling the weight of his decision. Satria POV. Why did you pick that job, puppy? Are you sure about it? Fatalis, his ever-snarky partner, asked skeptically. Why not? It sounds cool, Satria replied nonchalantly, a confident smirk on his face. Like Naruto, Satria had several powerful and bizarre job options to consider. Dragon Knight, this job granted him incredible regeneration, unmatched strength, and advanced swordsmanship. What made it truly unique? He could transform into a dragon. Omni Knight, essentially a holy warrior, a paladin. He could manipulate light energy to heal allies and weaken dark element enemies. His ultimate skill, Guardian Angel, made his allies and him immune to physical damage for 10 seconds. Silencer, a nightmare for magic users. Every enemy he killed increased his intelligence and magical power. His ultimate skill, Global Silence, disabled all magic worldwide for 5 seconds. For someone as fast as Satria, 5 seconds was an eternity to take down opponents. Outworld Destroyer, this job transformed intelligence into raw destruction. Using arcana energy, Satria could shatter minds, steal mana, and obliterate enemies with Sanity Eclipse, a devastating attack based on the difference in mana reserves. Invoker, a versatile mage role. Satria gained control over 3 elements: fire, storm, and ice, and could combine them to create custom spells. The sheer flexibility was its greatest strength. Grand Magus, another arcane-based job, but with a twist. It allowed Satria to use telekinesis and boosted his allies' spell power with arcane supremacy. The standout ability was skill stealing. He could copy enemy techniques after analyzing their magical essence and make the spell stronger. Dark Knight, an edgy-sounding choice. It came with advanced sword skills, curses that silenced enemies, and a unique skill that turned damage into healing for both himself and allies. Damn, it's a job for a masochist. Starfall Archer, this role utilized the moon as a catalyst. Satria could hide in shadows and bombard enemies with beams of moonlight. Its power, however, was strongest at night. Finally, there was Dark Terror. The description was a garbled mess of alien symbols and cryptic text. Satria's curiosity flared at the unknown. If the system itself doesn't want me to know, I have to. After successfully registering at the Adventurers Guild, the group began to leave, but Fran lingered behind. She approached the guild master with a determined expression. "You need something from me, young lady?" the guild master asked, intrigued by her resolve. "Ahem. I want to sell the materials from the monsters I've slain during my travels," Fran said plainly. "We need money for an inn and food." The guild master nodded. "I see. Well, show me what you've got." Fran dropped so many materials on the floor from her dimensional pocket. "You are incredible," he said, awe in his voice. "It's been years since I felt this kind of excitement. You remind me of my youth when I was full of curiosity and ambition." He paused for a moment, then smiled warmly. "Wait here for a bit. I'll have the materials appraised." After a short time, guild staff arrived to collect and evaluate the materials. When they finished, the guild master returned with a heavy sack of gold coins. "Here is your payment, Fran-san," he said, setting the sack on the counter with a loud thud. 1,000,000 gold coins for your materials. It's been a pleasure doing business with you." The entire guild fell silent. The adventurers erupted in shock. The hall buzzed with whispers about the young black cat girl who had just earned a fortune. Meanwhile, Satria's jaw dropped, and he collapsed to the floor in despair. Wait! You can sell monster parts for that much money?" Satria groaned. "All those monster corpses I left in the wasteland. I've been walking past literal piles of gold." Fran giggled at his reaction, holding the sack of coins close. "Don't worry, Satria. With this money, I'll take good care of you. Just tell me what you want, and I'll buy it for you." Really? But, it's your money. I can't let you spend it on me." Satria quickly shook his head, trying to act tough. "As a man, it's my duty to take care of good girls like you, not the other way around." Fran tilted her head, a mischievous smile forming on her lips. "Oh? Don't be shy, my hero. There's no shame in being spoiled a little." Fatalis, as always, couldn't resist teasing her bearer. "Oh, how low you've fallen, my boy, depending on a young girl to take care of you. What would others say about this?" Satria's face flushed red. "I idiot. I'm not some hopeless man. Take back what you said, you stupid dragon." Fatalis cackled, enjoying his frustration. "Don't worry, this dragon will spoil you too, once I get out of your body. I'll make you the happiest man in the world." "Ugh. I don't have time for this nonsense," Satria muttered, switching to Indonesian. "Bodo amat. Malas and gomong sama kau. Kok merah? Ha ha ha." Fatalis replied mockingly. As the group left the guild, a gang of thugs blocked their path. Hey there, a demi-human with a cat face sneered. Why don't you hand over that money, little girl? We'll put it to better use than you. Yet, a man in a magician's robe chimed in, fire flickering in his palm. A brat like you doesn't deserve that much gold. Fran's expression darkened. She glared at them fearlessly. Over my dead body, you trash. She's like a knight in shining armor, Fatalis whispered gleefully. You should take notes, puppy. Satria, however, noticed something strange. The guildmaster watched the scene unfold but made no move to intervene. Is he testing us? Satria muttered to himself. One of the thugs, a punk-haired man, pointed a dagger at Fran. Give us the money, or we'll make you regret it. Are you nobles? Another thug, a massive beast man, growled at Satria. If you are, lead us to your lodging and hand over everything you've got. Instead of fear, Satria burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Wait, wait, wait. Are you serious? Out of all the people in this city, you chose me? Guys, take a look at this moron. He's trying to rob me. And I thought Naruto was weird, Kurama muttered. Who are you calling weird, you damn furball? Naruto snapped. You. Die. The thugs, enraged, charged at Satria. The beast man swung his massive mace, but Satria dodged effortlessly and grabbed him by the arm. What the thug stammered as he realized Satria had dragged him outside the guild at impossible speed. Before he knew it, they were standing near a volcano. Lava bubbled ominously below. You've got guts, I'll give you that, Satria said with a grin. But any last words? Stop. I don't want to die, the beast man cried, trembling as he clung to the edge of the volcano. Please. I'll do anything, just don't do this to me. Satria tilted his head, a sinister smile creeping across his face. Anything, hey? You'll do whatever I say. The beast man frantically nodded, sweat dripping down his brow. Satria grinned and pulled him back from the edge, letting him collapse onto the ground. The beast man exhaled in relief, his whole body shaking. Good. Now, you'll follow my commands, right? Satria asked coldly. Yes. Anything, boss? Please, spare me, the beast man begged, dropping to his knees in submission. Satria feigned contemplation. Let's test that. Say I ask you to kill someone, would you do it? There's a brat in the city who's been annoying me. I want him gone by tomorrow. Simple, right? I don't want to dirty my hand with such a trivial matter after all. The beast man's terrified expression melted into a wicked grin. Just that? Of course, boss. A simple job for someone like me. Give me a name, and I'll make sure the brat gone. Satria's smirk widened. Good. Now, here's your first command, jump into that hole. He pointed toward the bubbling lava below. The beast man froze. What? You heard me. Jump. But you said. I said you'd do as I command, Satria interrupted, his smile vanishing. His tone turned icy. Don't forget your place, trash. You're alive because I decided it, and your life is worthless. Why even bother living? You promised to follow my orders, so hurry up. Or would you rather I give you a fate worse than death? The beast man trembled, staring at the molten abyss behind him. Please, he whimpered. I'll do anything else. Just don't make me do this. Satria crossed his arms. Fine. I'll give you until the count of 10. After that, I'll handle you myself. 10. The beast man fell to his knees, sobbing. Please. Spare me. 9. 8. 7. I'll change. I'll be a better person. Just don't do this. 6. 5. The beast man's pleas grew more desperate. 4. 3. Finally, his fear morphed into rage. "Screw you, bastard," he roared, lunging at Satria in a last-ditch attack. 0. With a flicker of movement, Satria stepped forward, delivering a perfectly timed punch to the beast man's vital point. The force of the blow rendered him unconscious instantly. Sighing, Satria grabbed the limp body by the collar and dragged him back to Alessa city. Back in Alessa, Satria stood in the middle of the bustling streets, holding the beast man in one hand. Onlookers gathered, whispering among themselves, curious about the scene unfolding. Satria smirked and activated his ability. A faint glow enveloped the beast man, his body stiffening unnaturally. In an instant, his fur vanished, leaving him completely naked, and his form twisted into a weird pose. His eyes remained open, alive but unable to move. "Perfect," Satria said, stepping back to admire his work. The beast man was now a living statue, his body frozen, but his senses and mind fully intact. He could feel the wind against his skin, the stares of passers-by, and the biting humiliation of his fate. "Is that Bogota?" a woman asked, squinting at the bizarre figure. "What's he doing here? And why is he naked?" another murmured, her face twisting in disgust. "Is he okay?" someone else said, cautiously waving a hand in front of the beast man's eyes. The beast man's gaze followed the movement, confirming his horrifying condition. "Oh, he's alive," the person said, stepping back nervously. "Wonderful," another voice said mockingly. A stone flew through the air, striking the beast man's frozen form. "Did you enjoy that, hey?" the stone thrower shouted. "Consider that payment for what you did to me." Laughter erupted from the growing crowd. Children pointed and jeered, adults shook their heads in disdain, and some even enjoyed the spectacle. The beast man could do nothing but endure it all. Satria smirked from the shadows, watching his handiwork. "That's what you get if you are messing with Black Flash," he muttered. The silence in the Adventurers Guild was broken by one of the remaining thugs frantically searching the room. "Where's Bogota? And where's that white-haired guy?" The cat demi-human thug turned his attention to Fran, his frustration spilling over into anger. "You bastard! Where did you hide him, you filthy black cat?" He pointed his sword at Fran. Before he could make another move, Fran dashed forward with lightning speed, her great sword cutting cleanly through his leg. "And no way! My leg! My leg is gone," the cat demi-human cried out, collapsing to the floor. Blood pooled beneath him as he writhed in pain. "What? Since when?" Fran's sword was stunned, sensing an ominous black aura radiating from her. Fran's eyes narrowed, her voice cold as steel. "Don't you dare insult black cats! And you're next!" She raised her sword, her intent clear, to finish off the remaining thugs. Before she could strike, Naruto appeared behind her, grabbing her wrist gently but firmly. "That's enough, Fran-chan," he said, his voice calm but tinged with concern. Fran hesitated, her grip on the sword faltering as she glanced at him. Naruto's expression was serious, his eyes glowing a deep red like blood. "You've made your point. Don't take it too far." The thugs, now terrified, scrambled to retreat. Why yes. We'll leave. Let's get out of this damned place." They picked up their injured companion, fleeing the guild with their tails between their legs. As the dust settled, a voice rang out from behind them. "You guys done?" Fran and Naruto both turned sharply, instinctively taking a defensive stance, only to relax slightly when they saw Satria casually strolling toward them. "Satria!" The sword sighed. "Whoa! You startled me there, idiot!" Naruto frowned, his tone sharp. "Where did you go?" Satria gave an exaggerated shrug. "Nothing important. I just went to grab a drink and, delivered the big guy to his utopia. After all, I'm a hero helping those in need and giving others a chance to redeem themselves." He flashed a thumbs up, his smile beaming with mock innocence. Naruto raised an eyebrow but decided not to press further. "Sure. Whatever you say." The guild master clapped his hands, drawing their attention. "You three are certainly something special." Naruto's face darkened as he turned toward the guild master. "Why didn't you step in? Are you the type to turn a blind eye when something like this happens in your guild?" The guild master met his gaze calmly. "Not blind, just trusting. I believed you three could handle it. And frankly, those thugs had it coming. They've been a problem here for too long." He tossed a hefty bag of gold coins toward Satria and Naruto. "What's this for?" Naruto asked suspiciously. "Consider it an investment," the guild master said with a knowing smile. "You've got potential, and I like to support promising adventurers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got work to do." He turned on his heel and disappeared into his office. Satria inspected the bag, his grin widening. "Real gold. Gotta say, he's a weird guy, but I don't mind this kind of generosity." Naruto sighed, rubbing the back of his head. "Let's not get too comfortable. We still need to find an inn to stay at." The group wandered through the bustling streets of Alessa, searching for a good inn and some equipment for Fran. As they walked, Satria naturally drew the attention of the women in town, who seemed enchanted by his looks and aura. Before long, a small crowd of admirers gathered around him, some bold enough to flirt openly. "Excuse me, sir. Are you an adventurer? Would you like me to show you around the city? Such a handsome man. Are you single?" Fran's ears twitched in annoyance, and her grip on Satria's hand tightened like a vice. "Go away. Don't come closer to him," she hissed, glaring at the women with the ferocity of a lioness protecting her pride. One of the women smirked, unfazed. "What a grumpy little kitten. Aren't you too young for him, brat? Why don't you let the older girls take care of business?" Satria, sensing the brewing storm, acted swiftly. Without hesitation, he scooped Fran into his arms, holding her protectively. "Sorry, ladies," he said with a charming smile. "But I'm hers today. Please, let us enjoy our day in peace, okay?" The women groaned in disappointment, reluctantly backing off as Satria carried Fran away from the crowd. Fran's cheeks burned as she processed his words. "I'm his. He said I'm his. Hee, then that means he's mine too." Her mind spun with new, unfamiliar emotions, and something dark, almost predatory, stirred within her. "Should I put those thieving cats in their place? They dared to claim what's mine." A chilling aura briefly radiated from Fran, though Satria didn't seem to notice. Fatalis, however, was less than impressed. "Idiot! Does he even realize what he just said? This is definitely going to cause problems later." "Don't worry, there's always another day for us to try again," one of the lingering admirers whispered longingly. A bold blonde elf woman added slyly, "If you ever want someone to warm your bed at night, you know where to find me, stud." Satria sighed, choosing to ignore the comments. The sword, however, wasn't about to stay silent. This bastard harem protagonist. If it were me, I'd have accepted them all, especially that elf. But no, you just had to keep flirting with my wielder. Fran's eye twitched, her annoyance palpable. "Shisho, would you shut up already?" Satria smirked, clearly enjoying the sword's irritation. "You're a terrible guardian, you know that? Poor Fran. I bet you'd chase away every guy who tried to get close to her. And coming from a pervert like you, your opinion doesn't hold much weight." "I am not a pervert," the sword retorted indignantly. "Yeah, sure. Keep telling yourself that." As their banter escalated, a sudden chill filled the air. Both Satria and the sword immediately shut up when Fran shot them a sharp look. "You two, stop it, or I will be the one to discipline you," she warned, her voice low and threatening. Both of them froze, nodding silently. Fatalis chuckled in amusement. Looks like the kitten's claws are out. As the group strolled through the city, Naruto suddenly narrowed his eyes, his senses sharp. Someone's following us, he warned, glancing subtly over his shoulder. Fran's ears perked up in agreement, and she instinctively placed a hand on her sword. Satria, however, shrugged with a grin. I know. Let him follow us. Maybe he just wants to witness my awesomeness firsthand. The sword groaned in exasperation. This moron takes everything as a joke. Please, someone give this idiot a lesson in self-awareness. I'm begging every god who'll listen. Fran ignored the sword's commentary and focused her gaze on a specific spot in the shadows. Her voice was calm but firm. Who are you? Show yourself. A low chuckle came from the direction she was staring. Stepping out of the shadows was an old dwarf with a rugged beard and a heavy smithing hammer slung over his shoulder. Haha, sharp senses for such a young one, the dwarf said, his deep voice carrying both respect and good humor. He gave a polite bow. My name is Granzel, a humble and honored blacksmith. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Fran studied him warily but didn't sense any ill intent. What do you want? Granzel chuckled again, scratching his beard. I couldn't help but notice your swordsmanship back at the guild. It's rare to see such skill in someone so young. And that sword of yours, quite the peculiar partner, isn't it? The sword huffed. Of course, I'm peculiar. I'm one of a kind, and you couldn't forge anything close to me if you tried, old man. Shisho. Fran scolded, shaking her head. Granzel wasn't offended and instead gave a hearty laugh. No need to get defensive, friend. I was only curious. If you're willing, I'd love to examine it professionally, of course. And perhaps I can be of service to your group as well. Naruto exchanged a glance with Satria, silently gauging his reaction. Satria shrugged casually. Well, you don't seem like a bad guy, but we don't really know you yet. How about you tell us what you're really after? Granzel smiled knowingly. Fair enough. Let's just say that I have a feeling about you lot. You're not ordinary adventurers, and I think we may be able to help each other. But let's save the rest of the talk for when we're somewhere more comfortable. To be continued. Chapter 65, Chapter 53. Calm before the storm. Honored blacksmith. Appraisal. The sword activated its skill to scan the dwarf standing before them. A glowing screen appeared in the sword's vision, revealing the man's stats and skills. Is he trustworthy, Shisu? Fran asked, her grip on the hilt tightening. Yep, he's legit, the sword replied. This guy is no ordinary blacksmith, he's a master of his craft. Relax, Fran. He's not an enemy at least, not today. Let's hear him out. The dwarf chuckled, stroking his beard. You talk to your sword, eh? Never seen an intelligence weapon up close. Must be some piece of work. Fran gave a slight shrug. How about you tell us why you were following us first? The dwarf laughed heartily. Straight to the point. I like it. Fine, fine. I overheard you're looking for gear. Ever since I saw this little miss handle those thugs in the Adventure Guild, I've been curious. Name's Granzel, an honored blacksmith in these parts. I don't sell my creations to just anyone. Only the worthy. And you three, well, you caught my eye. You're interesting, and I reckon my work would suit you perfectly. Naruto raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Confident, aren't you, old man? I could use some new kunao and shuriken, and we haven't found anything worthwhile in this town yet. Might as well check it out. What do you guys think? Fran nodded. I'm in. I've got money to spend, and I need better gear anyway. Satria crossed his arms, smirking. Sure, why not? But I'll warn you now, Granzel, we've been let down by a lot of weapon shops here. Hope you're not just all talk, or it's going to be a waste of time. The dwarf grinned confidently. Disappointed? Not a chance, lad. My creations speak for themselves. Follow me, and I'll show you weapons and gear you won't find anywhere else. All right then, Franz said, stepping forward. Lead the way. They followed Granzel through narrow alleyways and winding streets until they arrived at a hidden entrance. The shop was tucked away so well that it was clear the blacksmith had no intention of letting just anyone find it. Satria glanced around, impressed. You're really serious about keeping random folks out, hey? Granzel chuckled as he unlocked the door. That's the idea. Come in. The group stepped into the shop, their eyes adjusting to the warm glow of the forge. Weapons and armor lined the walls, each piece radiating craftsmanship far superior to anything they'd seen in town. I've got a question for you, Mr. Granzel, Satria said, breaking the silence. Go ahead, lad. What's on your mind? Granzel replied, stoking the flames of his forge. Why don't you let just anyone buy your work? You do know that's a bad move for a merchant, right? If your weapons are as good as you claim, they could help so many people survive in this harsh world. Granzel paused, his expression somber. You're not wrong, young man. I used to think that way too. But then, I watched as unskilled fools relied too much on my weapons instead of their own abilities. They went into battles they weren't ready for, and they didn't come back. My creation's masterpieces I poured my heart into were lost, left to rot on some battlefield. After losing countless weapons and seeing good iron go to waste, I decided to change my ways. Now, I only sell to those I deem worthy people who can use my work to its fullest and respect it. The group fell silent, respecting his conviction. Hey, the sword whispered to Satria. Ask him how he figured out I'm an intelligence weapon. We need to address this. It's not good if random people can figure me out. Satria smirked. Strange. I'm hearing the whining of a spineless man, but I can't seem to find him anywhere. Fran, do you hear it? A crybaby, somewhere close by. Fran blinked and tilted her head, suppressing a smile. Maybe. It does sound a bit familiar. The sword's voice rose indignantly. Fran. Did you hear what he said? He's a bully. A big, fat bully. I demand justice. Protect your Shishao's pride. And for the record, I'm not a crybaby. Fran, now giggling, reached out and pinched Satria's cheek. Don't bully my Shishao, Satria. I want you two to get along, okay? Satria pouted, rubbing his cheek. Me? Be friends with him? Ha! Not in 1,000 years. The sword scoffed. As if I'd ever be friends with this moron. The feeling's mutual, you overgrown child. Fran sighed, shaking her head. Boys. Naruto, standing off to the side, let out a long-suffering sigh. You two are so much trouble. Fran-chan, you've got your work cut out for you keeping them in line. Granzel, meanwhile, observed the group's antics with an amused smile. Ha, you lot are something else. But you'll need that kind of spirit to handle my creations. Now, let's see if you're really worthy of them. Naruto pulled out a kunao and a handful of shuriken, showing them to Granzel. Do you have anything like this? The blacksmith leaned closer, inspecting the unusual tools. This material is something I've never seen before. Where did you get these weapons? Naruto scratched the back of his head awkwardly. Yeah, I figured this would happen. These are made from a godly alloy called Hihiiro-kan. No way someone here could replicate them exactly. Granzel's eyes lit up with inspiration. I may not be able to forge these exact weapons, but I could create something similar. The design is simple enough. How about that? Naruto's face brightened. Really? That's good enough for me. I'm counting on you, Mr. Granzel. Granzel then turned to Fran, who was scolding Satria and her sword about their constant bickering. And what about you, young lady? Anything catch your interest? Fran perked up at the question. Oh, yes. I'd like to see what armor you have. I don't need weapons right now, but I could really use better protection. Ah, armor. Just give me a moment. The blacksmith disappeared into the back of the shop and returned with 4 impressive pieces. Flame Bowl Dress Armor, a lightweight yet durable white dress with flame-resistant properties. Paralysis Cat Gloves, sleek gloves designed to protect against paralysis effects. Venom Wyvern Boots, sturdy black boots that grant resistance to toxic environments. Mithril Armband, cat-type, a magical armband with high defense and resistance to various spells, featuring a cat motif. Each piece was crafted with care, offering both protection and mobility, perfect for a versatile fighter like Fran. Fran's eyes sparkled at the selection but turned to Satria, gently touching his hand. What do you think, Satria? Satria tapped his chin, deep in thought. He scanned the options, envisioning which would best suit her combat style. His gaze fell on the armor, a striking white dress paired with sleek black accents. It had a chest protector for extra durability and didn't compromise her agility. You should go with the black and white set. It'll look amazing on you, not just adorable, but functional too. It's perfect for someone who needs to stay light on their feet. What do you think, oh mighty and opinionated sword? The sword grumbled for a moment but eventually agreed. Humph. For once, you're not completely wrong. The stats are solid, and it's a great fit for Fran. But, are you sure we can afford this? This armor looks rare and expensive for rookies like us. Granzel laughed heartily. Don't worry about that. It's rare to come across an intelligent weapon like you, and I believe your wielder has the potential to become a famous adventurer one day. Supporting promising adventurers is part of my job. Fran smiled shyly. Thank you, Mr. Granzel. I'll take this one. The blacksmith turned to Satria. And what about you, lad? You don't seem like the type to need weapons. Are you looking for armor? Satria crossed his arms, a mischievous grin playing on his lips. Actually, I'd like to commission a custom-made set of armor, designed by me. Would you be willing to take the job? The entire group stared at him, curious about what this eccentric man had in mind. Granzel raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Custom-made, eh? Interesting. Do you have the design ready? Not yet, Satria admitted. But I'll deliver it to you now. It won't take me long to sketch it out. I guarantee it'll be worth your time. Granzel nodded, his interest clearly piqued. You've got yourself a deal. I'm curious to see what kind of armor someone like you would dream up. Fran tilted her head. Satria, what kind of armor are you planning? Something flashy. Satria smirked. Oh, you'll see. Let's just say it'll make me stand out even more. Naruto groaned, rolling his eyes. As if you don't already. Satria leaned over the counter in Granzel's shop, sketching furiously on a piece of parchment. Lines and curves flowed as he poured his vision into the design. After a few moments, he held it up proudly. The blacksmith and the rest of the group leaned in to examine it. The design resembled a mage's outfit: long, flowing robes of black and green, with intricate golden patterns etched into the fabric. The hood gave it an air of mystery, and the cape seemed to shimmer, as if it were alive with magic. The centerpiece of the ensemble was a sleek, elaborate staff adorned with floating cards that hovered and twirled around it like enchanted familiars. Granzel stroked his beard. This is impressive work, lad. You've got a good eye for aesthetics. But, are you sure about this? Naruto stared at the design, blinking in confusion. Wait. You're a brawler, right? Why the heck are you dressing up like a mage? Aren't fighters supposed to wear armor or something practical? Fran tilted her head, curious. It does look cool, though. Are you secretly a mage, Satria? Satria straightened his back, placing one hand dramatically on his chest. Mage? Ha! No, I am no mere mage. You may call me Grand Magus. There was a long silence before the sword groaned. Great! Not only are you a cosplayer and show-off, but now you've got delusions of grandeur. Fran blinked. What's a Grand Magus? Naruto sighed. Knowing him? It's just a fancier way of saying I'm flashy for no reason. Satria crossed his arms, looking both smug and dramatic. TCH. You fools don't understand true style. It's not about practicality, it's about presence. When I walk into a fight wearing this, my enemies won't know what hit them. They'll be too busy gawking at how awesome I look. Granzel chuckled, shaking his head. Well, if this is what you want, I'll do my best to bring it to life. But I hope you don't regret your choice when you're dodging swords and arrows in this fancy get-up. Regret? Satria scoffed. Me? Never. Besides, it's not just for a show. Those cards? I want them to float around the staff and move dynamically during combat. Imagine me dodging attacks and bam! A card deflects a blow while I punch someone into oblivion. Style and utility. Naruto scratched his head. It still sounds ridiculous. But hey, if it works for you, I guess. Fran's ears twitched. I think it'll look good on you, Satria. See? Fran gets it. Satria beamed, lifting her into the air and spinning her around playfully. Put me down. Fran protested, but her small smile betrayed her amusement. All right, Satria said, setting her down gently. But don't you worry, Fran. When this is finished, you'll see the true power of the Grand Magus. Naruto sighed, shaking his head. Well, whatever makes you happy. Granzel laughed, rolling up the blueprint. You're certainly unique, lad. I'll start working on this right away. It'll take some time to get the details just right, especially with the floating cards. Come back in a few days, and I'll have something to show you. Take your time, Satria said, already imagining himself decked out in his new gear. This is going to be legendary. After completing their shopping spree, the group gathered outside the blacksmith's shop. Fran had spent a hefty 300,000 gold on her new armor and a custom sword sheath, while Naruto shelled out 200,000 gold for the kunao and shuriken he had ordered. Fran, eager to test her new dress armor, donned it on the spot. The shimmering white and black ensemble hugged her petite frame perfectly, exuding both elegance and strength. Naruto and Satria, predictably, whipped out their devices to take photos. Wow! So cute! You look amazing, Fran-chan! Naruto gushed, snapping pictures like an overexcited paparazzo. Not bad at all, the sword thought, impressed by the balance of utility and charm in the armor. She looks both strong and adorable. Satria, not one to be outdone, waved enthusiastically. Fran, that's it. Now, can you strike another pose? Maybe something more heroic. Fran, though flustered, gave a small smile and complied, raising her sword slightly in a poised battle stance. You Lilicon, Fatalis interjected with a dry tone. I'm not a Lilicon, you idiot. Satria snapped back internally. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Fatalis teased. Meanwhile, Fran chuckled softly, holding on to Satria's arm. You're so cute, Satria. I like you. The comment made Satria freeze. Why do girls keep calling me cute? What part of me is cute? He grumbled in his mind, recalling how his wives often used the same description. Fatalis joined in with his usual banter. She's got a point, puppy, you are adorable. Believe it. Puck you, Satria muttered under his breath, his face flushed. The sword, however, shifted the conversation. By the way, Granzel, how did you know I'm an intelligent weapon? It's not something people usually pick up on so easily. Granzel smiled, pointing to his eyes. My eyes have an ability called God Sight. It lets me see through almost anything. No one can hide their status or identity from me. The sword hummed thoughtfully. Interesting. But you didn't know about these two. Granzel's expression turned curious. That's the odd part. I can't read their statuses at all. The only thing I see is their levels marked as 1, which makes no sense after what I witnessed at the guild earlier. Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Probably because we're not from here. Your system can't exactly figure us out. Satria smirked confidently. What can I say? I'm just too amazing for any system to comprehend. The sword groaned audibly. No, no. What you meant to say is, I'm the biggest idiot in this world. That's more accurate. Fran giggled again at their banter, finding it endearing. She tightened her grip on Satria's arm, her bright eyes shining. You're the best. Satria sighed, shaking his head. Seriously? Why does everyone think I'm some kind of softie? Because you are, puppy, deal with it, Fatalis said with mock glee. Naruto laughed at the exchange, slinging his bag of newly bought weapons over his shoulder. All right, lovebirds. Let's find an inn and get some rest before the next adventure. We've got a long day ahead tomorrow. Lovebirds. Satria and Fran chorused, their faces turning red. See? Fatalis teased with a grin. Cute. Don't start. After purchasing everything they needed from the blacksmith shop, the group made their way to a clothing store to buy some casual clothes for Fran. As they entered, a cheerful blue-haired clerk greeted them. Welcome. How can I assist you today? Fran hesitated slightly, glancing at Satria. Are you sure about this? I should be the one spoiling you, not the other way around, she said, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. As he spoke, the clerk's eyes sparkled. She approached Satria with a flirtatious gleam in her eyes. Hello. If you need anything, gentlemen, please let us know. And if you don't mind, she whispered, leaning in close, would you be interested in getting to know me better after my shift? Maybe a dinner. Her voice was smooth and seductive. Satria groaned inwardly. Not this again. Maybe I should start wearing a hood or mask like him. He glanced at Naruto, who had cleverly concealed his face like a ninja. Even the sword seemed to grow anxious for some reason as it nervously hummed at his side. I bet this guy's never even had a girlfriend in his past life. You speak like you've had a girlfriend in your past life, don't you? Fatalis teased him, the black dragon's tone laced with amusement. Satria sighed. It's not that. I was just too busy with my job to have a relationship. I traveled too much, and when I did have free time, my parents insisted I continue with my college studies. Then, of course, Truck-kun had to interfere. Damn him. Fran, sensing Satria's discomfort, stepped forward and smiled at the clerk, cutting her off. He's with me, and I'd appreciate it if you could show me some suitable undergarments for me. The clerk's flirtation faltered, replaced by a polite but tight-lipped smile. Of course. Please follow me, young lady. Fran followed the clerk, trying on various clothes, each one cuter and more attention-grabbing than the last. She even picked out some playful outfits, hoping to catch Satria's eye. Satria couldn't help but smile at the sight of her, but his thoughts were jumbled. She's so cute. But wait, she's not a cat. He tried to keep his composure. Fran giggled, enjoying the attention but still feeling a little nervous. She approached Satria, her face flushed. So. What do you think of me, Satria? Satria's heart skipped a beat at her shyness. She's too adorable. No, Wait! Hold yourself together. You can't just hug her. She's a person, not a cat. It's not right to hug a lady without her permission. Taking a deep breath, Satria gave her a reassuring pat on the head. You're cute and beautiful, Fran. Never doubt it. Fran's face lit up with happiness at his words, and she decided to go ahead and buy the clothes. Naruto's POV. They're too many, but that won't stop me from cutting down their numbers. Naruto created a lava-style Rasen Shuriken and hurled it at the monstrous army. The searing weapon exploded, incinerating a quarter of the horde in an instant. However, before he could celebrate, an ear-splitting roar echoed across the battlefield. A massive black dragon, an S-class monster and one of the divine beasts, descended, opening its maw to unleash a devastating black cannon buster. The beam obliterated one of Naruto's shadow clones. Satria, Naruto, and Fran had completed their preparations, stocking up on potions and cooking ingredients. However, potions were outrageously expensive in this town. Fran, buy the potions from the Dimension Chet shop instead. They're way cheaper there, Satria suggested. Fran nodded, and with Satria and Naruto each giving her 500 copyright, she made the purchase, ensuring she didn't dip into her own savings. With the shopping done, the group rented rooms at an inn, one for each member. Satria, predictably, refused to share a room with Naruto. I like my privacy, he declared, leaving out the fact that he simply loved to be alone. Before long, Fran made an unexpected request. I want to sleep with Shin. The sword immediately protested. No. I won't let you share a room with this man. Satria pinched the bridge of his nose, sighing. Fran, you're a girl, and it's inappropriate for a man and woman who aren't in a relationship to sleep in the same room. Fran's ears drooped in disappointment. Fine. Feeling guilty, Satria quickly added, I'll stay with you until you fall asleep. How about that? Her face instantly brightened. Really? Yay! Take care of me, Satria. She dashed to her room with a spring in her step, leaving Satria and Naruto behind. Naruto crossed his arms, narrowing his eyes. Don't try anything weird, got it? Who do you think I am? I'm not that kind of guy, Satria replied with a scowl. Suddenly, Naruto's demeanor grew serious. One of my clones was destroyed. The monster's horde will arrive tomorrow. He quickly formed another clone and ordered it, report to the guild master. The clone nodded and vanished into the wind. Naruto turned back to Satria, his expression grim. If we don't act, this city will fall. Why aren't we stopping them now? Satria leaned against the wall, smirking. Because we need to make an impression. Unlike you, Mr. Shadow Operative, I want to make a name for myself in this world. When we destroy that army tomorrow in front of everyone, we'll earn the admiration of these people. Connections, influence, reputation. All of that becomes ours. Besides, he added, glancing toward Fran's room, I want my kitten's adventure to proceed smoothly. Fame will pave her way. Naruto's jaw tightened. So that's what this is about? Fame? What about the people here? With you and me working together, no one will die, Satria replied casually, waving off Naruto's concerns. And if there are casualties, well, my deepest condolences to them. Every plan has its flaws, after all. Naruto's patience snapped. Without a word, he activated his Kurama Chakra mode, sending both of them into his personal domain. His fist collided with Satria's palm in a thunderous impact. Do you realize your plan puts everyone in danger? Naruto roared, his chakra flaring. Satria didn't flinch, meeting Naruto's glare with a smug grin. The better question is, do you think I care? Naruto's eyes widened in disbelief. You're insane. Satria chuckled darkly. Insane? Perhaps. But this is how you make a legacy in this world. Now, show me what's stronger? The shadow you carry or the light I embrace? The two stared each other down, their power swirling in the air like an oncoming storm. This was the beginning of the clash between light and shadow. To be continued. Chapter 66, Chapter 54. The Rise of the Grand Magus. After clashing fists, both Naruto and Satria retreated, their stances unwavering as the air crackled with energy. _____. Ding. Challenge initiated, defeat your opponent in a duel. Shin vs God of Hope. Winner receives a special reward. Live stream now active. King of Knights, what are you doing, Naruto? Why are you two fighting? Spider-Man, wait, sparring? Or is this an actual fight? Death, this should be entertaining. Who's stronger, the God of Hope or the so-called Dark Dragon? Cookies Maniac, friendly match? My friend and I do this all the time at the academy. Kuroniko, Satria. Naruto. Why are you fighting? Where are you? I can't find you near the inn. Evil spirit, stay put, Fran-chan. They're not at the inn. Just watch the live stream, it's going to be interesting. _________. Satria's surroundings morphed into a twisted, infernal landscape. Rivers of molten lava bubbled and hissed, the air heavy with unbearable heat. The crimson sky was filled with ash, and an oppressive force pressed down on him. What is this place? Satria muttered, wiping sweat from his brow as the extreme heat even began to test his endurance. This, Naruto said, his voice echoing, is my domain, the throne of the heavenly demon god. You're trapped here now, Satria. There's no escape until I beat you to a pulp. _______. Robin, the throne of the heavenly demon god? Okay, now that's a badass name for a technique. King of Knights, you've been holding out on me, Naruto. I never saw this in our training sessions. Kazuma-sama, that's horrifying. If anyone in my world got caught in there, they'd be toast. Literally. Black Cat, stop fighting, both of you. This isn't the time for this. _______. Naruto's domain was no illusion. It was a realm of scorching flames and unrelenting heat, designed to overwhelm his enemies. The fire surrounding the field was no ordinary flame, it was hellfire, an unquenchable blaze hotter than Amaterasu. Inside the domain, Naruto held total control, manipulating the fire at will. Satria grimaced. A domain expansion, hey? Looks like you've been busy experimenting with your powers. But... He cracked his knuckles, summoning his dragon belt. You're not the only one with tricks up his sleeve. Henshin. In an instant, black armor materialized on his body, his presence growing more menacing as he became the Black Dragon Knight. Without hesitation, Satria dashed forward, aiming a punch directly at Naruto. But before the strike could land, Naruto's body became encased in a fiery cloak. The barrier held briefly. Satria's punch shattered through the fiery cloak, sending Naruto flying backward. Naruto grunted as he hit the ground hard, coughing as pain shot through his ribs. Damn! That punch almost broke something. He forced himself up, glaring at his opponent. Not bad. You broke through my barrier. But... Satria froze mid-step, looking at his hand in horror. It was engulfed in flames. What is this? It's hot. It's so freaking hot. Satria yelled, flailing and running in circles like a chicken. _______. Ding. Place your bets, Shin vs God of Hope. Current odds, 2:1 in favor of God of Hope. King of Knights, I'll bet 500 copyright on Naruto. He's been my sparring partner, and I know how hard he hits. Sorry, Satria. Spider-Man, you're betting on Naruto? I'll go with Satria, 300 copyright. He's got that chaotic energy that makes him unpredictable. Death, interesting. While I respect Satria's strength, Naruto has the experience and power I admire. I'll wager 1,000 copyright on him. Kazuma-sama, are you crazy, Peter? Satria's on fire literally. There's no way he's coming out of this alive. I'm putting 700 copyright on Naruto. Black Cat, stop betting on them. They shouldn't even be fighting in the first place. Evil Spirit, relax, Fran-chan. This is how boys bond. I'll throw 800 copyright on Satria. I like his persistence even if he's flailing around like a roasted chicken right now. Robin, let's see. Naruto's domain is incredible, but Satria has an annoying way of turning the tide. I'll play it safe with 500 copyright on him. Amelia, why are you all treating this like entertainment? Shouldn't we be stopping them? Death, oh, come on, Amelia. Where's your sense of fun? Don't be such a goody two-shoes. Kazuma-sama, she's got a point. But since we're already here, does anyone else feel like this fight could level a city? Spider-Man, we're all thinking it, but we're pretending it won't happen. That's hellfire, Satria. It's hotter than Amaterasu and impossible to extinguish. The more you panic, the worse it'll burn. Why don't you just give up and reflect on your attitude? Naruto taunted, his face serious. Suddenly, Satria's fist collided with Naruto's solar plexus, causing the blonde to stagger backward. Despite the burn searing his skin, Satria smirked through the pain. Ugh! How? Feeling like you've already won, hey? He taunted, clutching his scorched hand. Naruto raised an eyebrow, confused by Satria's sudden burst of confidence. What are you? Before Naruto could finish, Satria made a shocking move. With a swift motion, he sliced off his own burnt hand, leaving Naruto momentarily speechless. As blood spattered the ground, Satria activated the Fatalis regeneration ability, regrowing his limb in mere seconds. Thanks for the explanation, idiot, Satria said, flexing his newly restored hand. Now I can do this without hesitation. Naruto's eyes narrowed. You're crazy. Cutting off your own hand like it's nothing? You've got guts, brat, I'll give you that. Meanwhile, Fatalis was in an uproar. Why did you do something so reckless? She yelled in his mind. Don't ever do that again, you hear me? You could have died. Relax, Satria replied calmly. It's high risk, high reward. Trust me. Kazuma-sama, of course Satria would do something insane like cutting off his hand and somehow survive. Only this guy, I swear. Black Cat, Satria. You're amazing. I know you can beat him. Death, to think he'd sacrifice a limb to gain an advantage, impressive. That kind of resolve is rare. Evil Spirit, such dedication to victory, slicing his own hand without hesitation. I'm sorry, Naruto-san, but I have to root for Satria-kun on this one. King of Knights, don't underestimate Naruto. He thrives in unpredictable situations. Trust me, this fight is far from over. Spider-Man, he just chopped off his hand like it was no big deal. I can't even imagine how painful that was. Amelia, this is too much. I can't watch anymore. I'm sorry. Amelia has logged out. Cookies Maniac, I thought everyone here was a good guy, now I'm not so sure. Cookies Maniac has logged out. Spider-Man, hey. I'm still the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? Right. Death, oh, you sweet summer child. Reality is a harsh mistress. You'll understand soon enough. Pervert Sage has logged in. Pervert Sage, I heard my student and Satria are fighting. Is this true? Robin, yes. And it doesn't look like a sparring match. There's real tension here. Do you know what's causing this, Fran? Black Cat, no, they were fine when I left them. I don't understand why they're fighting now. Pervert Sage, it's no mystery. Their personalities are polar opposites. Satria's rational, calculating, and willing to take extreme measures, while Naruto is an idealist who follows his heart. Conflict was inevitable. __________. Satria POV. The intense heat of Naruto's hellfire cloak surrounded me, its oppressive energy making the air ripple like a mirage. I kept my composure, despite the sweat trickling down my brow. My plan had to be executed perfectly, there was no room for error. Naruto charged at me, fists ablaze. I dodged narrowly, the hellfire cloak grazing past me and searing the air. He was powerful, yes, but power alone wasn't enough against me. I raised my hand, channeling the energy required for spell steel. Green arcs of magic swirled around me, focusing on the fiery cloak that enveloped Naruto. It wasn't an instant process, tracing the ability required precision and timing. But as soon as I felt the essence of his hellfire cloak, I pulled it into my own body. The flames that had once shielded Naruto now ignited around me, forming an identical hellfire cloak. The weight of the power was immense, but I smirked, embracing it as my own. Hellfire cloak, hey! I said, letting the stolen flames swirl around me. It's not bad. I might just keep it. Naruto skidded to a halt, his eyes wide with shock. What? How did you? That's my ability. I chuckled, the flames dancing at my command. No power is beyond the Grand Magus, I said, tilting my head arrogantly. Even your ultimate skill is nothing more than a tool in my hands. ________. Asteth, I'm impressed. He didn't just steal it, he's already mastered it. Kuroniko, Satria is so strong. Kazuma-sama, wait, there's no way he just casually copied Naruto's ability. That's busted. King of Knights, he's strong, but I doubt he can maintain this pace for long. His ability must have its limits. ___________. Naruto gritted his teeth, determination burning in his eyes. You think stealing my power makes you invincible? Let's see how long you can keep that up. I didn't respond immediately. He wasn't wrong, spell steal wasn't infinite. Each use had a cooldown period, and during that time, I couldn't trace or absorb another ability. Worse still, the stolen power was temporary, fading after a few minutes. But he didn't need to know that. I dashed forward, flames trailing behind me like a comet. The stolen hellfire cloak absorbed Naruto's fiery punches as I closed the distance and landed a solid strike to his gut. He staggered back, clutching his stomach in shock. How does it feel to be outplayed by your own ability? I taunted, spinning the flames around me for dramatic effect. Maybe next time, don't flaunt your skills so recklessly. Naruto recovered quickly, forming a lava-style Rasen Shuriken in his hands. You're underestimating me, brat. I don't need Hellfire Cloak to take you down. I braced myself, knowing I couldn't afford to take the full brunt of that attack. My cooldown timer was ticking away, but it wasn't finished yet. If I wanted to steal another one of his abilities, I'd have to survive long enough for the window to open again. The Rasen Shuriken came hurtling toward me, spinning with destructive force. I used the Hellfire Cloak to shield myself, but the impact sent me flying, crashing into the molten ground of his domain. Robin, Naruto's attack is insane. How is Satria even standing after that? Evil spirit, he's stalling for time. Asteth, Fufu. He's waiting for his moment to strike again. This duel just got more interesting. As I rose to my feet, I felt the cooldown timer finally tick to 0. A sly grin spread across my face. Your mistake, Naruto, is thinking I'm just playing defense. Naruto narrowed his eyes, clearly sensing my shift in confidence. What are you planning now? Spell steal, ready. The words echoed in my mind as I locked onto his Rasen Shuriken. My hand glowed with the signature green magic, and I traced the Rasen Shuriken's structure, absorbing its essence into my arsenal. The stolen Rasen Shuriken formed in my hand, its fiery edges blazing with intensity. Let's see how you handle your own attack. I shouted, hurling it straight at him. Naruto barely had time to react, leaping to the side as the Rasen Shuriken detonated, leaving a fiery crater in its wake. You're not the only one who can innovate, Naruto, I said, my voice dripping with confidence. A Grand Magus doesn't just copy, he perfects. Madadabi's voice echoed sternly in Naruto's mind. Idiot! I told you not to let his goofy act trick you. Look what he's done now, he almost knocked the wind out of you. Jiki chimed in, his tone serious. That kid knows where to strike. If you didn't have a healing factor, you'd already be down. You need to take him seriously. Naruto clenched his fists, his expression hardening. I won't make that mistake again. His body flared with energy, transforming into his demonic form. His eyes glowed with power as he clapped his hands together. Hand of the Fallen One. The arena trembled as enormous blackened hands emerged from the fiery ground, each one a colossus of destructive force reaching for Satria. Satria darted between the incoming hands with superhuman speed, his movements fluid and precise. The colossal hands slammed into the ground, causing shockwaves, but he remained untouched. Too slow, Naruto. Satria taunted, dodging effortlessly. Fatalis's voice echoed in his mind, sharp and analytical. Listen, we need to keep our distance. Those hands are a problem, and the Hellfire Cloak makes close combat impossible. Use ranged attacks, but aim for his blind spots. Strike with precision. Got it, Satria replied, summoning his strike vent. A bow materialized in his hands, glowing ominously with energy. He drew back the string, infusing his power into the arrow. Arrow of Calamity. The arrow shot forth, leaving a trail of destruction as it soared toward Naruto. It exploded upon impact, shaking the entire arena. But when the dust cleared, Naruto stood unscathed, his hand extended toward a swirling black vortex that had absorbed the attack. Something like that is useless against me, Naruto said coldly, dismissing the attack as if it were nothing. _______. Robin, this is incredible. Satria's speed is something else, he's using his powers better than some speedsters in my world. Pervert sage, Naruto. Just how strong are you now? I can't believe how far you've come. As death, Fufu. Another ability you didn't show me, Naruto? You're making me jealous. I want to fight you even more now. Kazuma-sama, damn it. Why do I have the worst luck? A girl walked into the bathroom while I was watching this awesome fight. I missed half of it. Spider-Man, bro, was that supposed to impress us? I have a girlfriend now. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Evil spirit, stupid pervert. ___________. Satria clicked his tongue, observing Naruto carefully. The vortex had rendered his ranged attack useless. He needed a new plan and fast. Naruto, meanwhile, smirked, his confidence growing. Is that all you've got, Satria? But Satria's smirk returned as he began to charge another ability. Don't get cocky just because you blocked my attack. I've got plenty more tricks up my sleeve. Naruto's expression darkened, his fiery aura flaring even stronger. Then show me, Satria. Let's see what you are truly capable of. Fran gritted her teeth, frustration welling up inside her as she watched the fierce battle between Satria and Naruto. How? How can I ever hope to be as strong as them? They're on a completely different level. Do I even deserve to stand by his side? The sword, sensing her turmoil, spoke up. What's wrong, Fran? His tone was filled with concern, his connection to her making it impossible to ignore her emotions. Fran hesitated, then asked quietly, do you think I'm weak, Shishao? The sword was taken aback. No. Of course not. You're incredibly strong, Fran. Why would you even think that? Fran clenched her fists, her ears drooping slightly. Don't lie to me. Compared to Satria or Naruto-san. Do you still think I'm strong? Her voice trembled, a mix of frustration and self-doubt. She hated being pitted and wanted the truth, no matter how harsh. The sword sighed, understanding the root of her feelings. Fran, listen to me carefully, okay? Fran nodded, giving him her full attention. Strength isn't just about power or abilities. It's about determination, growth, and heart. You're still young, Fran, and you have so much potential. The people you're comparing yourself to Satria and Naruto, they weren't always this strong. They started from the bottom, just like you. They struggled, failed, and kept pushing themselves until they became who they are today. You're no different. If you keep striving, keep training, and never give up, you'll reach their level one day. I know it. Fran's eyes shimmered with newfound determination. She hugged her sword tightly, her gratitude evident in her expression. Thank you, Shishao. For everything. The sword chuckled softly. That's what I'm here for, Fran. To guide you, not just in battle, but in life. As Fran released him, a curious thought crossed her mind. Her lips curled into a small, mischievous smile. Speaking of dreams. I wonder, what's Satria's dream? Hee. I really want to know. A vibrant green aura radiated from Satria's body, his voice ringing out confidently, spell steel. In an instant, the technique was traced, analyzed, and taken. Naruto, realizing what had happened, summoned a sphere of his hellfire blast and hurled it directly at Satria. Yet, instead of panicking, Satria calmly raised his hand. The fiery attack was absorbed by the same black vortex Naruto had conjured earlier, disappearing without a trace. Kurama's voice boomed in Naruto's mind, shocked. No way! He stole our technique again. Son Gok, equally bewildered, muttered, how is that even possible? Naruto glared at Satria, his frustration evident. How the hell are you copying my abilities so easily? Explain yourself. Satria smirked, clearly enjoying the moment. Explain? Sure, let me break it down for you, Bobo-ka. Why the hell should I explain my power to you, idiot? With a mocking grin, he raised his middle finger. Puck you! Naruto's eye twitched as rage boiled over. You rude little brat! I'll definitely teach you some respect. Naruto charged at Satria with ferocity, his fists igniting in blazing flames as he prepared for a close-quarters assault. _______. Spider-Man, classic Satria, always knowing how to get under his enemy's skin. I respect the hustle. Evil spirit, what is Bobo-ka? Is that some kind of secret spell? Robin, it's not a spell. It's a Filipino insult that translates to calling someone very dumb. Evil spirit, no wonder Naruto-san is fuming. But perhaps some discipline would do him good. I could personally. Kuroniko, you can't do that to him. Pouting cat face. Evil spirit, oh? And why is that, little kitten? Kuroniko, because I'm the only one who can punish him. Evil spirit, that was an unexpected response. A protective streak, I see. ________. Satria darted through the battleground, his mind racing. He knew it wasn't wise to face Naruto head-on, especially with the fire cloak that protected him. The cloak's flame-like aura shielded Naruto from most attacks, making direct confrontation a deadly gamble. He's too fast. I must create a trap to catch him, Naruto thought, his eyes narrowing as he began to form a complex seal instead of continuing the fruitless pursuit. What you're thinking now is, you'll create a trap to catch me, right? Satria's voice rang out, sharp and confident. He had already anticipated Naruto's next move. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise. Did he just read my mind? He hesitated for a brief moment before shaking off the thought. No, it doesn't matter. The only way to defeat him is with this spell. Satria had stopped his pursuit. His eyes gleamed with determination as he shifted into a more aggressive stance. Now, let's begin the real show. He prepared himself to strike again. Naruto, now fully aware of the danger, made his move. Mirror image, go. Prevent him from disturbing me, he ordered, sending his 10 clones into the fray. The clones formed a barrier, each ready to fight Satria to give Naruto time to cast his spell. Satria smirked, a flash of arrogance crossing his features. You think a bunch of clones will stop me? I'm the fastest man alive, you asshole. In a blink, Satria vanished, his speed creating a vacuum as he moved at unimaginable velocity. A harpoon of energy formed in his hand, a weapon made from his own speed force. With a burst of movement, he launched himself at the clones. The first 5 were destroyed before they could even react, reduced to nothing but vaporized remnants of mana. _____. Robin, so it's true that he has a connection with the Speed Force. King of Knights, too fast. How do we catch someone this fast? Evil Spirit, can you explain to us what Satria's power is, at Robin? You seem familiar with it, right? Robin, true, but my knowledge of the Speed Force is limited. Still, I can explain the basics. Death, Speed Force? What is that? Robin, it's a cosmic energy field that grants users the ability to move at extraordinary speeds. My friend, Wally West, can run around the world 7 times in a second with this power. Imagine what Satria can do with it. Evil Spirit, no way. To have power like that and still not forget his other abilities. Kuroniko, Satria is that fast? Unbelievable. Pervert Sage, every power has its weakness, though. You've got a way to counter this, right? Robin, Batman has a contingency plan for speedsters. But we're talking about Satria. He's the type of guy who has a plan within a plan. His unpredictability is his greatest weapon. ______. Useless. 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 Ha ha ha. Satria's laughter echoed as he effortlessly decimated clone after clone. He could feel the tension rise, the battle reaching its critical point. Akh! Naruto's clones screamed as they perished. Damn it! Naruto clenched his fists, determined to protect the original. Don't let him get close to me. With desperation in his heart, the remaining clones began to form a magic circle, their combined power creating a barrage of powerful elemental attacks. Wind Dragon Fury. Firefox Dance. Wave Form. Eruption. Thunder Strike. 5 massive attacks launched at Satria, each one carrying the destructive power of nature itself. A colossal wind dragon soared toward him, flames danced in a fiery tornado, a massive wave crashed in his direction, the earth erupted beneath him, and lightning crackled through the air. Together, they formed a devastating assault aimed at obliterating him. Satria's eyes narrowed, calculating his next move with precision. The world. He activated his stand, halting time in an instant. With the power of the cosmos, he juxtaposed turning invisible and creating 2 clones as distractions. He disappeared into the shadows, hiding from the oncoming storm of destruction. The 5 elemental attacks collided in a catastrophic explosion, ravaging the arena. But amidst the chaos, one of Satria's clones was caught in the wave, disintegrating instantly under the force of the combined assault. Spider-Man, I can't decide who's more amazing, Satria with his super speed, or Naruto with his destructive power. King of Knights, both of them have their strengths. But what kind of plan is Naruto preparing to catch him? Pervert Sage, I'm curious, too. If what he's doing now isn't his trump card, I can't even imagine what kind of surprise he's about to show us. The battle raged on, the arena filled with the aftermath of Naruto's powerful elemental attack. A massive cloud of dust and debris enveloped the battlefield. Did we get him? Naruto's clone whispered, his eyes scanning the destruction. From the swirling cloud of chaos, a shadow emerged. Get over here! A Satria clone hissed, launching his harpoon with lightning speed. It hooked one of Naruto's clones, pulling it toward him and obliterating it instantly. Naruto's clone stared in disbelief. He wasn't even scratched by all of that. He's strong, the clone muttered, his voice strained with exhaustion. With a flick of his left hand, Satria made a fluid gesture as though manipulating invisible strings. Without warning, one of Naruto's clones turned and attacked another clone, a force pulling it into action against its will. I can't control my body. What are you doing to me? Naruto's clone cried out, his movements jerky and uncontrollable as Satria's influence took hold. Satria laughed darkly. Ha ha ha. You must be wondering how I can withstand your attacks and control your clone. To be honest, you've already entered my game. You should surrender now while you still can, Naruto. With a cruel smile, Satria manipulated the clone, forcing it to attack the real Naruto. But before the clone could strike, Naruto dispelled it in an instant, his chakra dissipating in a flash. Robin, seriously? He's still holding another card back. Evil spirits, He can even control someone as powerful as Naruto-san? That was terrifying. King of Knights, another trick? How slippery can this guy be? Naruto said, a wicked grin stretching across his face. Now, my spell is finished. Be ready to be defeated by me. He raised his hands, and a red magic circle flared to life beneath him, glowing with ominous power. Cage of Misery. The ground trembled as a wall of infernal flames erupted around Satria, trapping him from every side. There was no escape, no way out. The blaze encircled him in a blazing cage, licking at the air with an intensity that would turn anything to ash. Naruto's eyes narrowed with an unsettling confidence. Let me show you the true power of Doombringer. You were so confident in your abilities that you forgot who you were facing, the most unpredictable ninja in the continue. With a snap of his fingers, the flames twisted together, forming a single, massive pillar that reached the heavens, engulfing Satria in a raging inferno. The heat was unbearable, scorching everything in its path. Did I kill him? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Naruto's laugh echoed through the arena, cold and twisted, a far cry from the usual carefree ninja the others had come to know. King of Knights. Robin. Pervert Sage. Evil spirit, he looks different. Is he perhaps possessed? As death, how regretful. Spider-Man, this must be a joke, right? Kuroniko, no. It can't be real. Satria is dead. How dare you do this to him? At God. Evil spirit, calm down, Fran-chan. Do you not believe in him? I thought your connection with him was deeper. Looks like I was wrong. Kuroniko, what do you mean? Evil spirit, just watch. He's not the type who dies easily, little kitten. There's a reason why I put my faith in him. Pull yourself together, Naruto. Kurama's voice boomed in his mind, filled with urgency. Have you killed him? This isn't what we're here for. We're supposed to teach him a lesson, not end him. Naruto blinked, the weight of his actions sinking in. What have I done? His voice faltered as the realization hit him. He quickly scanned his surroundings, activating his eye technique, but there was no sign of Satria. The battle's heat seemed to have clouded his judgment. Before he could process further, a voice rang out behind him. Miss me? Naruto froze. His heart skipped a beat. _________. Kuroniko, you're right. My Satria is still alive. Smiling cat face with open mouth. Evil spirit, Fufu, see? This is what I mean, little kitten. Spider-Man, good grief, this guy is going to give me heart attacks every time. ___________. Naruto whirled around, his eyes wide in disbelief. There, standing behind him, was another Satria, unharmed and confident. Since when? Naruto stammered, his mind racing. Satria grinned darkly. Do you really think you're the only one capable of creating a clone? The one you trapped in that fire pillar was merely a distraction. It was futile for you to think you could stop me that easily. Naruto's eyes narrowed in sudden understanding, but before he could react, Satria moved with terrifying speed. A green arcane string shimmered to life, twisting around Naruto's body like a serpent. It combined with Satria's speed force energy, locking down Naruto's movements and stealing his ability to accelerate. Game over, Satria whispered coldly. With a swift motion, he stabbed his palm into Naruto's chest, sending a violent shockwave through his body. Naruto gasped, blood spilling from his mouth as the shockwave reverberated through his organs. His vision blurred, and the world spun. You! Naruto's knees buckled, and he collapsed to the ground, the life draining from him with each passing second. His body, ravaged by the sudden attack, couldn't keep up. He passed out from the pain and blood loss, his breath ragged and shallow. _________. King of Knights, what are you doing to him? Answer me, at Shin. As death, if he decides to use his full power instead of holding back, this could end very differently. Shin, that's just a little love tap. Don't worry about him. He's in good hands now. Winking face. Robin, you just pierced his chest. How can you say there's nothing to worry about? Evil spirit, to be fair, Naruto-san nearly killed him too. It's almost kind of him to not finish off his attacker. Kuroniko, are you okay, at Shin? Shin, I'm in perfect shape, at Fran. But now, please excuse me while I heal this stupid blonde first. Shin log out. Shin is the winner. 5,000 copyright reduced from God of Hope coins. Betting prize shared to the winner. Shin gets 5,000 copyright plus 1 surprise box plus 1 gotcha ticket. _________. Kurama, inside Naruto's mind, growled, he's still alive? How? Saiken, her voice cracking with disbelief, muttered, our Naruto was defeated, by this kid. Shikaku, irritated and angry, snapped, this is because he was holding back. Why didn't he use his weapon? He was tricked like a damn fool. Kokuo, usually calm but now impressed, added, even without a weapon, it should be impossible for anyone to defeat him like this. We were in his grip from the beginning. This boy, he's dangerous. HNN, my dear Satria is truly a remarkable man. From the moment we met, I knew you were the one for me. Your strength and determination drive me wild. Watching you strategize, your precision, and how you handle any challenge, it leaves me in awe. You truly outsmarted your enemy in the fight, and it was magnificent. Even though he had superior firepower, you still managed to outplay him. It was beautiful. Fatalis said in awe. The scene returned to normal as Naruto's domain collapsed after his defeat. Help! The receptionist of the inn cried out in fear as she noticed Naruto's injuries, but her voice was silenced when Satria placed a hand over her mouth. Don't worry, Satria whispered. Everything is under control. He gave her a stern look, signaling that she needed to stay quiet. The receptionist, frightened, nodded in agreement. Now, excuse me, Satria continued, lifting Naruto's unconscious form onto his shoulder. I need to get him to his room and heal him before it's too late. To be continued. Chapter 67, Chapter 55. Golden Hand. After ensuring Naruto was stabilized and resting in his room, Satria made his way to Fran's room. He paused outside the door and knocked gently. Fran, are you there? He called out softly. The sound of small, hurried footsteps approached the door. It opened, revealing Fran, her eyes wide with a mix of relief and worry. Before Satria could say another word, she lunged forward and hugged him tightly. Satria! You were amazing out there, but... Her voice quivered as she buried her face into his chest. Please, don't do anything that dangerous again. I was so scared. I don't want to lose you forever. Satria was taken aback by her sincerity, his heart softening. He gently placed a hand on her head, stroking her hair to comfort her. For someone to care about me this much. He whispered, his voice filled with gratitude. It makes me really happy, Fran. Thank you for being a part of my life. I promise, I'll be more careful. Their tender moment was interrupted by a sharp voice that came from within the room. I don't know what the hell is happening, but get away from Fran this instant. The sentient sword, Shishao, floated into view, its blade gleaming and vibrating with agitation. Its voice was filled with protective indignation. Shishao! Fran exclaimed, stepping back slightly. Satria wasn't doing anything wrong. I don't care. You're a young girl, and he's trouble. You're not old enough to understand his tricks, the sword retorted. Satria sighed, crossing his arms. Seriously? After everything we've been through, you still don't trust me? You make me sad. Fran stomped her foot, her cheeks puffing slightly in frustration. Shishao, stop it. Satria saved my life, and he's my friend. Don't treat him like he's some kind of villain. The sword hesitated, then gave a reluctant grumble. Fine, but I'm watching you, Satria. Don't think for a second I'll let my guard down. Satria chuckled, leaning against the door frame. Fair enough. But you might want to learn how to relax a little. Stress isn't good for blades like you. Fran giggled at the exchange, her earlier tension fading. Thank you, Satria. I'm glad you're okay. Satria smiled warmly. Anything for you, Fran. As Satria lounged at the table, he watched the sentient sword bustling about in the kitchen. It was a surreal sight, one he never expected to witness. To think I'd live to see a sword cooking for me. My life just keeps getting weirder and weirder in this new world, he mused internally, shaking his head with a small grin. Shishao. What are you making for us? It smells amazing. Fran's excitement was palpable as she leaned over the table, her nose twitching at the heavenly aroma wafting through the room. This, my dear Fran, is special fried chicken with otherworld spices. And now. The sword raised a spatula dramatically. It's ready. With a flourish, the sword presented the dish. Golden brown fried chicken, glistening and fragrant, lay beautifully arranged on a plate. Fran's eyes sparkled as her stomach growled audibly. Can I eat it now, Shishao? She asked eagerly, already reaching for a piece. Of course. Enjoy to your heart's content, the sword declared proudly. Fran dove in without hesitation, savoring each bite with gusto. Her expression lit up as the flavors burst in her mouth. Delicious. Satria, aren't you going to eat? Shishao's cooking is amazing, she said between bites, her cheeks puffed like a chipmunk. Satria, however, was still staring at his plate, looking mildly unsatisfied. Something's missing, he said thoughtfully. The sword, taken aback, sputtered. Missing? What do you mean missing? What could possibly be missing from my masterpiece? Without answering, Satria casually opened the Dimension chat shop. _______. Welcome to Dimensional Chat Shop. Your coins, 42,500 copyright. Rice, 10 copyright. Fried rice, 20 copyright. Nasai Pickle, for 5 people 30 copyright. You successfully purchased Nasai Pickle. Your coins, 42,470 copyright. Te Pukuk Jumbo, 1360 ml 10 copyright. You successfully purchased Te Pukuk Jumbo. Your coins, 42,460 copyright. _______. With a flick of his wrist, Satria summoned a traditional Nasai Pickle, a basket of rice, and a bottle of Te Pukuk from his inventory. Now this is complete. Without rice, it's not really a meal, he said with a smirk, scooping up a portion of rice and adding the fried chicken to his plate. He then dug in with his bare hands, eating with the practiced ease of someone who had done it his whole life. Feel free to take some rice, Fran, if you want. Fran blinked, intrigued by Satria's approach. She grabbed a piece of fried chicken, scooped some rice onto her plate, and tentatively tried to eat with her hands like him. Hold it right there. The sword's voice boomed, stopping her in her tracks. No. You are not allowed to eat with your bare hands like him. It's unhygienic. Satria glanced up, a piece of chicken halfway to his mouth. How rude. Eating with your hands is a proud tradition in my country. It actually enhances the taste of the food. Don't knock it till you try it, Baban. The sword froze. Baban? Who's Baban? Satria smirked, suppressing a laugh. He's a legendary chef from my homeland. The Grand Master Chef, a true culinary genius. Considering your cooking skills, I think you're worthy of his name. So, what do you think? Should I call you Master Baban from now on? The sword paused, considering the honor. Then, with a proud hum, it replied, hee hee, so you've finally recognized my culinary prowess. Very well. From this day forth, you may address me as Master Baban. Satria gave him a slow, mocking clap. Congratulations, Master Baban. Your name is now as great as your cooking. Fran giggled as she stuffed another bite into her mouth. Satria's right. Master Baban's fried chicken is even better with rice. Satria pointed his finger at Fran in mock sternness. But don't talk with your mouth full, Fran. That's bad manners. Fran nodded obediently, her cheeks full of food, and continued eating happily. Meanwhile, Satria leaned back, finally satisfied. Satria, Fran, and Baban sat together in Fran's room, discussing her training. The atmosphere was casual, though the topic at hand was anything but light. I believe healing skills should be her priority, Baban declared firmly. Survival is paramount, and a good healer is invaluable in any situation. Fran should master those first. Fran, however, found her sensei's lecture dull. Her eyelids drooped as Baban delved deeper into his rationale, his tone as serious as if they were planning a world-saving strategy. Fran, are you even listening? Baban asked, noticing her waning attention. She mumbled half-heartedly, leaning onto Satria's lap. Within moments, she was sound asleep, her soft breathing breaking the silence. Baban sighed. She's already asleep? I'm not even done yet. Satria gently patted Fran's head, his voice low but teasing. Idiot. Of course, she's bored. You're explaining the RPG version of healing skills like it's a dissertation. She's just a little girl, not a textbook. Baban bristled. My explanations are not boring. They're informative and wait, why are you still here? Don't think I'm letting you sleep with her, you fool. Leave. Before Satria could respond, Fran mumbled in her sleep, Satria. Shishao. I love you both. Please don't fight. I'll become stronger for you. The room fell silent. Satria sighed, a small smile crossing his lips. Fine, I'm going, he whispered. He carefully laid Fran on the bed, making sure she was comfortable before standing. Turning to Baban, Satria's expression grew serious. Baban, can you protect her when I'm not around? Fran probably won't accept anyone's protection outright. She's stubborn and wants to grow stronger through her own efforts. But this world isn't kind to kids, and death is always a possibility. Baban paused, observing the man in front of him. Beneath Satria's playful and sarcastic demeanor, he could sense genuine care and a deep bond with Fran. It was clear he wasn't just here out of obligation, he truly wanted Fran to thrive. Even so, something about Satria unsettled Baban. There was a side to him that felt hidden, something difficult to pinpoint. It wasn't malevolent, but it was complex, layered. I'll protect her, Baban said, his tone softer. As her guardian, it's my duty to ensure she grows strong enough to protect herself one day. I'll guard her with everything I have until that time comes. Satria nodded. Good. I'm counting on you, Master Baban. The sword hesitated before speaking again. But I worry about her attachment to you. Fran would do anything for your sake, even if it puts her in harm's way. That could be dangerous for her. Satria didn't reply immediately. He glanced at the sleeping girl, his eyes softening. I know, he said finally. But that's why I'll make sure to always be someone she can rely on. Someone she doesn't have to sacrifice everything for. With that, Satria turned and left the room, leaving Baban to watch over Fran. The sword sighed, feeling a mixture of relief and unease. This guy. He's not as simple as he seems. But for now, Fran is safe. And that's all that matters. He carried the journal of the first emperor, the legendary Qin Shi Huang, and returned to his own quarters. The ancient tome was heavy in his hands, both in weight and the gravitas of the history it contained. Settling into a chair, Satria opened the worn cover, and the world of the past unfolded before him. The words written by the emperor himself detailed not just his rise to power, but the trials, suffering, and regrets that shaped his path to greatness. The early pages painted a grim picture of Qin Shi Huang's childhood. Born into royalty but abandoned as a political hostage in the outskirts of Handan, the young prince endured 7 years of torment. He lived as a symbol of Zhao's hatred for Qin, a lone boy surrounded by people who saw him as the embodiment of their grief and vengeance. Loathed and mistreated, the prince experienced every form of despair. Each day was a struggle, a test of his will to survive. Yet, even amidst this storm of hatred, his life was forever changed when she appeared, Chunyan, his caretaker and last loyal guardian. For the first time, I felt warmth, a sense of family I had never known, the journal read. Chunyan protected him from the hostility of Handan's people. She shielded him from their curses, soothed his wounds, and gave him hope. In her, he found not just a savior, but a mother figure and a hero. But the young prince bore a curse of his own. His pain was unique, not just metaphorically, but literally. The resentment and hatred directed toward him were absorbed into his body, manifesting as physical and emotional suffering. The burden was immense, yet he endured it with a smile, determined not to break. It's incredible he remained sane, let alone rose to become a great emperor, Satria muttered, his admiration for the man growing. Even Naruto's suffering pales in comparison to this. Chunyan's guidance gave the prince purpose. She taught him to see beyond the hatred and to aspire to be a better person, despite the world's cruelty. Her words, though simple, carried profound wisdom. A great ruler does not seek vengeance but harmony. Protect the innocent, even if the world is unkind to you. One who never doubts, never yields, never relies, and always stands as the leader of his people. That is what makes a king. For the first time, the young prince believed in a brighter future. But this happiness was short-lived. When the time came for him to return to Qin as its crown prince, tragedy struck. On the journey, soldiers from Zhao ambushed his caravan. Their intent was clear: revenge. Caught off guard, the prince watched in horror as Chunyan sacrificed herself to protect him. Her death was swift, but her loss carved an unhealing wound in his soul. I was weak. Too weak to save her. I vowed never to be powerless again, the journal stated. From that moment, the boy became a man of unyielding resolve. He dedicated his life to becoming the greatest ruler the world had ever seen. Qin Shi Huang's techniques were forged through this determination, each one a testament to his willpower and his promise to Chunyan. Techniques of the First Emperor. Qi Yu, martial art style created by Qin Shi Huang. It comprises 5 different fighting styles and it is considered to be the ultimate martial art. Qin Shi Huang mastered the techniques during his battle with the demon god, Chu. After beating him, Qin Shi Huang named his martial art style after him. Each of the 5 fighting styles are named after one of the 5 tools of war that Chu is believed to have created: crossbow, sword, halberd, spear, and armor. Heavenly Hand of Defense, intercepts an attack and absorbs the energy of its force. After taking the force of an attack into his body, Qin Shi Huang is able to redirect it back at his opponent. Mount Tai Dragon Claw, pierces through his opponent's body by stabbing them with this Hejie Tao on either his right hand or left hand. Tortoise Ripple, using his eyes to see the flow of qi in a person's body and the cruxes along that flow in the form of stars, fires an invisible bullet of air from his mouth to hit one of the stars he sees. White Tiger Crescent Moon, lifts up his right leg and proceeds to swing his kick in a crescent arc. Satria closed the journal, his expression thoughtful. Path of the Emperor, hey, he murmured. It sounds troublesome, yet admirable. The story stirred something within him. He hadn't given much thought to his own dreams in this life, but a spark was ignited. Qin Shi Huang's journey was a reminder of the potential for greatness within anyone, even those who began with nothing but suffering. From within, Fatalis purred with delight. It has begun, my boy, the dragon's voice echoed in his mind. The seed of ambition has taken root. Worry not, for I shall guide you to the new height. Satria smirked, feeling the beginnings of a new resolve. His path might be different, but like the first emperor, he would carve his destiny, no matter the obstacles. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes, blinking against the soft light of sun filtering into the room. His hand instinctively went to his chest, feeling a faint ache where the wound once was. His fingers brushed against smooth, unbroken skin. Where am I? Akh. He winced as a wave of phantom pain shot through him, clutching his chest in reflex. Yes. I lost. The admission stung more than any injury, and his voice carried the weight of disappointment. From within, Kurama stirred, his voice laced with a mix of irritation and curiosity. You finally awake, brat? How does the bitter taste of defeat suit you? Naruto sighed, closing his eyes briefly. It's bitter, that's for sure. Before Kurama could retort, another voice cut in, this time from Son Goku. If you two are done moping, can you explain this? Because I think our sisters are losing their minds over here. Confused, Naruto turned his attention inward, where the tailed beast's collective chakra realm resided. What he saw made his jaw drop. Matatabi, Kokuo, and Seiken were acting unusual. Maya, I never knew his power could provide such warmth, Matatabi purred, her tone unusually sultry. I need more of it. That gentleman is very intriguing, Kokuo added, her voice soft but tinged with curiosity. His touch was delightful. I'd like to understand him better. I agree, Sister Saiken chimed in, her voice practically dripping with satisfaction. His energy is unlike anything I've felt before. Naruto's face turned crimson, and he waved his hands frantically. What the hell is going on here? Why are you all acting like this? We don't want to hear that nonsense. Shikaku yelled, his voice gruff and filled with frustration. Enough with the lovey-dovey talk. You're all embarrassing yourselves. They've been like this ever since that guy healed your body with his weird energy, Jayaki explained, his voice steady but laced with confusion. It's like something in his power is affecting them, but I've never seen anything like this before. Naruto slapped his forehead, exasperated. You're telling me his healing technique somehow made the tailed beasts act like this? I don't know what it is, Son Goku growled. But whatever it was, it clearly messed with their body. Now they won't stop with the moaning and weird comments. Naruto sighed heavily, rubbing the back of his head. Fine. I'll ask him about it later. But seriously, this is just too weird. Kurama snorted. Weird doesn't even begin to describe it. If you're smart, you'll think twice before letting him heal you again. Noted, Naruto muttered, pinching the bridge of his nose. But right now, I just want some peace. Good luck with that, Kurama retorted dryly as the other tailed beasts continued their strange behavior in the background. Adventure Guild, Alessa City. The room was abuzz with murmurs of concern and speculation as the city's strongest adventurers gathered at the guild hall. At the center of it all stood the guild master, a burly man with a commanding presence. Beside him, an elf with sleek black hair and sharp green eyes crossed her arms, impatience edged across her face. Let's get to the point. Why were we called here so urgently? She demanded, her voice calm but edged with irritation. The guild master sighed, leaning on the massive oak table before him. An army of monsters is on its way, and they'll reach Alessa within the week. We need everyone capable of wielding a weapon to stand and defend this city. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the room. One of the elf's party members, a red-headed warrior with a scar running down his cheek, narrowed his eyes. And how do you know this? Where's the proof? The guildmaster allowed himself a faint smile. The information comes from a group of extraordinary individuals. They're new to the guild, but I trust them completely. In fact, they'll be helping us lead the defense effort. The room fell silent as three figures entered through the doors. All eyes turned to Satria, Naruto, and Fran. Naruto wore his usual grin, his energy infectious even in the tense atmosphere. Fran stood quietly, her stoic expression betraying nothing, while Satria exuded a calm confidence that seemed to draw attention without effort. A ripple of doubt ran through the gathered adventurers. These are the people you're counting on, a tanned man with striking white hair scoffed, stepping forward. He sneered as he sized up the trio. Rookies. Why should we believe they're capable of protecting the city, let alone leading us? Naruto scratched the back of his head and chuckled, trying to defuse the tension. Hey, no need to judge a book by its cover, right? Fran, meanwhile, simply glared at the man, her hand instinctively resting on the hilt of her sword. Satria, unbothered by the insult, took a step forward, meeting the man's gaze with a smirk. It's not about whether you believe in us or not, he said calmly. It's about whether you care enough to protect your city. If you don't, then feel free to sit this one out. Just don't expect any glory when the battle's won. The room fell into an awkward silence as Satria's words hung in the air. The elf raised an eyebrow, studying the trio with newfound curiosity. Bold words for someone we've never seen fight, she said, her tone almost teasing. Then watch us, Fran spoke for the first time, her voice quiet but firm. We'll show you what we're capable of. The guildmaster clapped his hands, breaking the tension. Enough. We don't have time for squabbling. These three have already proven themselves to me, and you'll see for yourselves soon enough. For now, focus on preparing for the battle ahead. Though the room remained filled with doubt and skepticism, the guild members reluctantly nodded and began discussing strategy. The elf gave Satria one last appraising look before turning away. "Let's see if you can back up your words, rookies." The atmosphere in the room grew tense as the blonde elf mage crossed her arms, glaring at Satria's group. "Are you sure they can save our town? They're just nameless adventurers. And why bring children into this? This isn't a place for them." Fran stiffened, but before she could respond, Satria placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, keeping her calm. The long-haired red-haired female warrior chuckled, stepping forward with a sly grin. Her striking green eyes sparkled with mischief. "Well, I think they're handsome enough. Prove yourselves useful, and maybe I'll reward one of you with something fun." She winked at Satria and Naruto, her flirtatious tone drawing a groan from her companions. "Bah!" The tanned, white-haired man scoffed, puffing out his chest and stomping toward Satria's group. "If anyone here is useful, it's me. I don't see anything impressive from the likes of you two, just pretty faces with no skill. Go home before you embarrass yourselves. Or, if you prefer, I can teach you a painful lesson." He smirked, raising his spear menacingly. Satria raised an eyebrow, smirking back. "Not impressed with you either. Big talk, small pepet." Before anyone could react, the white-haired man's pants suddenly dropped to the floor, revealing his underwhelming undergarments to everyone in the room. A stunned silence filled the air. The elf mage's jaw dropped. "That's undoubtedly small." The red-haired warrior covered her mouth to stifle her laughter. "How shameless!" Fran tilted her head curiously, only to have Baban, in his sword form, swiftly shield her eyes. "Fran, don't look. You're too young for this unholy sight." The white-haired man's face turned beet red as he scrambled to cover himself. What? How did this happen? When? You?" He pointed a trembling finger at Satria. "You did this to me, didn't you? Some kind of magic trick?" Satria raised his hands innocently. "Me? I just stood here. You're the one showing off your small pepet to the entire room. Are you not ashamed to have this exhibitionist as part of your party?" He turned his gaze to the black-haired elf, clearly the leader of the group. The elf closed her eyes and pinched the bridge of her nose, sighing deeply. "You're not making a good case for us, Galen." "Shut up! I'll kill you!" Galen bellowed in rage, raising his spear and lunging at Satria. But before the attack could land, Naruto appeared between them, calm and collected. With just a single finger, he stopped the tip of Galen's spear in its tracks. Snap! The spear shattered into pieces as Naruto applied the slightest pressure. The room fell silent once more, everyone staring in disbelief. Naruto sighed and scratched the back of his head. "You really shouldn't pick fights with us. It won't end well for you." Satria crossed his arms and smirked. "Well, Galer, any more bright ideas? Or should we call it a day before you lose more than just your dignity?" Galen turned pale, stepping back cautiously, his pride in tatters. The red-haired warrior burst into laughter, clapping her hands. "Now that was entertaining. Maybe you lot are worth keeping around after all." Naruto crossed his arms, his expression hard as he looked around the room filled with adventurers. "Is this really the best group you have, Mr. Guildmaster?" he asked, his tone tinged with disappointment. The Guildmaster let out a weary sigh. "Unfortunately, yes." "Don't look down on one," adventurer began, but his voice trailed off as Naruto unleashed a wave of demonic aura. The oppressive energy filled the room, causing the weaker adventurers to tremble in fear. Some of the furniture cracked under the pressure, and the once confident white-haired man collapsed in a dead faint. The black-haired elf smirked, clearly unfazed by the display. She licked her lips seductively. So intense. I like it." Naruto ignored her, his voice calm but menacing. Do not test my patience. He turned his piercing gaze to the room, silencing any objections before continuing. Here's the reality, there's an army of monsters outside, thousands of them, powerful and ready to destroy everything in their path. Let's not kid ourselves. No one in this room can stop them. Except for me, or him. He gestured toward Satria, who stood leaning casually against the wall with a smirk. The room erupted in murmurs of concern, the adventurers looking to the guild master for guidance. One of the braver souls finally spoke up. What should we do, then? Naruto's expression softened slightly. Instead of throwing your lives away, I need you all to focus on evacuating the townspeople. Protect them, guide them to safety, and keep the streets clear. Leave the front lines to us. Satria and I will deal with the monsters. Fran, standing beside Satria, clenched her fists and took a determined step forward. Naruto-san. Please allow me to join you. I don't want to be a burden, I want to fight by your side. Naruto placed a hand on her head, ruffling her hair gently. Fran, we've talked about this. Your time to shine will come, but for now, focus on staying safe. Before Fran could protest further, a striking red-haired woman stepped forward. Her armor gleamed under the light, and her confident demeanor drew everyone's attention. If you two are heading to the front lines, count me in. The name's Amanda, A-rank adventurer. And you, handsome? She directed her question at Naruto, her gaze lingering on him. Naruto met her eyes, unimpressed by her flirtation. Just call me patroness, he said curtly, turning back to the guild master. Amanda smirked, unfazed. Well, patroness, I hope you live up to that intimidating aura of yours. I'll make sure the town is safe, but don't hog all the fun. Naruto nodded. Good. Then let's move. Time is running out. As the adventurers began organizing the evacuation, Satria clapped Naruto on the back. Not bad, patroness. You've got a knack for inspiring fear and compliance. Naruto rolled his eyes. Just focus on the fight ahead, Satria. We've got a monster army to crush. Naruto turned to Satria with a mix of disbelief and irritation. Are you really sure about letting Fran join us? This isn't just a sparring session, it's a battlefield. Satria shrugged nonchalantly, popping the cap off a bottle of Coca-Cola. Why not? It's the perfect opportunity for some real-world training. Besides, she's tougher than she looks. Before Naruto could argue further, a panicked shout rang out from the city walls. They're coming! Gasps and murmurs of fear spread through the adventurers as the monstrous horde came into view. A wave of grotesque creatures stretched across the horizon, their snarls and growls echoing ominously. But the true terror lay at the back of the horde, a massive nearly 50-meter-tall black dragon with glowing crimson eyes, its scales shimmering with an almost divine aura. It's the divine dragon, one adventurer stammered. An S-rank monster, we're done for. No way we can win against that. Forget this, I'm outta here. The adventurers began scattering in panic, abandoning their posts and each other. _______. Dimensional chat. King of Knights, what a disgrace. Such cowardice is unbecoming of warriors. Kazuma-sama, hey, running away is a perfectly valid survival strategy. Even someone as amazing as me knows that. Evil spirit, amazing coward, you mean. Asteth, this is excellent training for the kitten. She'll grow stronger through this trial. Cookie's maniac, they're completely outnumbered. How are they going to win? Will Fran be okay? Pervert sage, relax, young lady. Those two will protect her with their lives. _______. Naruto turned to Fran, his face etched with concern. Fran-chan, are you really sure about this? It's going to be dangerous, more dangerous than anything you've faced before. Fran nodded firmly, unsheathing her sword. Yes, I'll do my best to help you both. I'm not afraid. Amanda, standing beside Fran, gave her a confident smile and rested her spear on her shoulder. Don't worry, handsome. I'll keep an eye on her and protect her with my life if need be. Naruto softened at Amanda's determination. Thank you, Amanda-chan. Let's do this together, Satria. He dashed toward the monster horde, his chakra flaring around him like a blazing inferno. Malice bang! Meanwhile, Satria pulled a chair from his new skill called Dimensional Inventory, set it up on the city wall, and leaned back, sipping his Coca-Cola leisurely. Amanda glanced at him, incredulous. You're just going to sit there? Your friend's charging headfirst into an army, and you're drinking without care of the world. Satria waved a dismissive hand. Relax. He's fine. That guy can solo this entire horde if he feels like it. No need for me to break a sweat yet. Fran, standing near Satria, let out a frustrated sigh. Why is he sometimes so silly and lazy, she thought, gripping her sword tightly. Despite her annoyance, she turned her attention back to Naruto, who was already cutting through the front lines of the monster army with precision and power. She steadied herself, her resolve firm. If Naruto-san can do it, I can too. Amanda laughed, patting Fran on the shoulder. That's the spirit, kiddo. Let's show them what we're made of. Satria chuckled from his chair, lifting his drink in a mock toast. Go get em, Fran. Make me proud. _______. Dimensional chat. Kazuma-sama, how can this guy be so calm when the city's on the verge of annihilation? King of Knights, don't bother trying to understand him. He's a lost cause. Evil spirit, lost cause? I think he's adorable. Robin, unpredictable. It's impossible to tell what he'll do next. That randomness makes him dangerous. Spider-Man, not gonna lie, Satria gives off major Deadpool vibes. Esteth, this is likely his unique teaching method for Fran. Amelia, teaching her during such a dangerous time. Esteth, lessons learned in life or death situations leave the strongest impressions. This is the right time to test her resolve. ___________. Naruto stood at the front lines, unfazed by the massive monster army charging at him. His eyes flared with determination as he made his move. Shikaku! Go kill them all! The sand stirred violently, forming into massive waves that towered over the battlefield. With a single command, the sand surged forward, burying and crushing countless monsters in its path. Gray. Baban was in awe. What insane power! Who is this guy? Amanda, meanwhile, was left speechless. No way! That isn't magic. Humans shouldn't be able to wield such strength. Naruto didn't stop there. He closed his eyes briefly, calling forth another ally. Matatabi! A sultry voice answered in his mind. Ah, Satria! Naruto furrowed his brow. Excuse me, but we're in the middle of a battle. Can you help me first, Matatabi-san? Kaie! Don't surprise me like that, brat! Fine, finish this quickly, then introduce me to him properly. With Matatabi's chakra flowing into him, Naruto imbued his Rasen Shuriken with blue flames, hurling it toward the advancing horde. The fiery windstorm incinerated dozens of monsters, leaving only ashes in its wake. A massive cyclops loomed behind Naruto, raising its club to strike. Without hesitation, Naruto's eyes transformed into the legendary ripple pattern of the Rinnegan. Shinra Tensei! A shockwave erupted from Naruto, obliterating the cyclops and sending debris flying. ______. Dimensional chat. Cookies maniac, Naruto-san is unbelievably strong. King of Knights, as expected from my Naruto. Robin, hard to believe Satria defeated him in a duel. Just unreal. Esteth, Naruto was clearly holding back against him. Evil spirit, Era lost is lost, as Death-san. Accept it. Kazuma-sama, actually, Naruto didn't use his full power like when he was fighting the demon in Peter World. So, maybe. Pervert sage, those eyes. That's the Rinnegan. Spider-Man, Rinnegan? What's that? Pervert sage, an ancient legend from my world. The Rinnegan's wielder is said to either become a god of creation to bring peace or a god of destruction to annihilate everything. Naruto's relentless attacks wiped out the majority of the monster horde, leaving only the black dragon. Meanwhile, Fran and Amanda held their ground, fending off smaller monsters approaching their position. Don't give up! Satria called from his seat, reclining lazily with his drink in hand. Show them the girl power. I'm helping with my prayers, don't forget it. Baban growled in irritation. You moron! Get over here and actually help us instead of spouting nonsense. Satria stood up casually and waved a hand. Fine, fine. I summon you, Ariel. With a flash of light, a blue, cat-like creature appeared. Vaporeon or Ariel immediately rubbed against Satria, earning a fond chuckle. Hello, sweetheart. Daddy needs your help to defeat the bad monsters with my friends, okay? Ariel gave a determined nod before leaping into the fray. Amanda stared, dumbfounded. Did he really just send that cute little thing into battle? Fran blushed, struggling to explain. I'm sorry about his behavior. But once you get to know him, you'll see he's a good person. Back on the battlefield, a massive explosion erupted as Naruto destroyed the final wave of the monster horde, leaving only the black dragon. This is the power of a god, Amanda whispered, awestruck by the devastation Naruto had caused. Baban crossed his arms, sighing. Looks like we weren't needed at all. I feel useless now. Satria sipped his drink, his eyes glinting with amusement. Rinnegan, hey? Now this is getting interesting. The black dragon roared in fury, baring its fangs before lunging at Naruto with ferocious speed. Kurama, ready! Naruto clasped his hands in a praying gesture, his body radiating a brilliant golden light. Kurama smirked. This is the perfect time to test it out. From behind Naruto, an enormous golden form began to take shape, an Asura Kurama, with 100 arms glowing with divine energy. 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva, Asura Kurama mode. Naruto announced, his voice carrying a divine echo. First hand. One of the giant golden hands moved with blinding speed, slapping the dragon out of midair and slamming it into the ground. The earth cracked beneath the dragon's massive weight as it struggled to rise, its body trembling with anger. _________. Dimensional chat. Spider-Man, what did I just watch? An invisible attacks. Robin, how could he bring down such a gigantic creature with just a simple hand movement? King of Knights, this is the result of Naruto's daily training, dedication forged through sweat and gratitude. Pervert sage, what kind of training? King of Knights, he performs 100,000 punches every day while praying in gratitude, no matter the weather. Kazuma-sama, that's insane. The kind of dedication I could never have. Robin, prayers as a training method? Fascinating. I never thought of that. _______. The dragon roared and gathered dark energy in its maw, firing a devastating ray of destruction straight at Naruto. Naruto vanished in an instant, teleporting to a safe distance. Reappearing, he made another praying motion, his fingers forming a sign resembling the number 99. The Asura Kurama unleashed a relentless flurry of punches, each blow landing with invisible force, striking the dragon from all sides. The creature roared in agony, its scales cracking and blood spilling from its wounds. Though battered, the dragon refused to give up, dragging its broken body to its feet for one final attack. You're strong, Naruto acknowledged, closing his eyes in concentration. But this ends here. Placing his hands together, Naruto focused all his power into a single point. The Azura Kurama howled as its aura condensed into an overwhelming surge of energy. Zero hand. Mastered. With the final prayer, the energy erupted in a brilliant flash, consuming the dragon entirely. When the light faded, nothing remained of the monstrous beast. Naruto stood over the remnants of the battlefield, his golden aura dissipating. Suddenly, Satria appeared beside him, casually sipping from a drink. "Well done," Satria said with a grin. "Now that the heavy lifting's done, let's deal with the caster and wrap this up. I'm completely exhausted after this fight." Naruto's Baijuyo collectively groaned in his mind. "But you didn't do anything." Naruto sighed, entering sage mode to search for the caster. "Follow me," he instructed. The two tracked the energy source to a decrepit building at the edge of the battlefield. Inside, they found an old man with a single horn on his forehead, his face twisted in pain. "You! What have you done?" the man rasped, trembling as he stared at Naruto and Satria. "Disturbed your evil plans, apparently," Satria replied nonchalantly. "Now, why don't you explain yourself? We can do this the easy way or the hard way." "You don't understand," the man wailed. "This was the only way to save our world. Under their rule, we had a chance. Now, it's over. It's all over." His body began to convulse violently. "Something's wrong," Naruto muttered, stepping back. "Stay alert." The old man screamed in agony as his body exploded, unleashing a gigantic, otherworldly creature that tore through the roof and soared into the sky toward Alessa city. Demi-Sempak Neptunus. "What the hell is that?" Satria yelled, staring in disbelief. To be continued.